Naruto, starting the live broadcast to the ninja world. Welcome back, brave explorers of impossible worlds. We are excited to have you here to continue this odyssey together. Before we continue, everything you'll hear is pure fiction, so please don't try to replicate combat techniques at home. This wonderful story and all its rights belong to its brilliant original author. We are only the messengers of entertainment. Want another dose of adventure? Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single chapter. And if you want to support us directly and enjoy exclusive content, check out our Ko-Fi. Chapter 276 Glasses are props. Rain Country Pain finally stabilized the bubbling red little Naruto. Konan rubbed Naruto's head and soothed him. Naruto, try not to lose control of your emotions in the future. The ninja world still needs you to save it. You must live up to people's expectations of you and don't go to an extreme path like Nagato and I did. Naruto wiped his tears with his sleeve, sniffed, and nodded heavily. Akatsuki is special to Naruto. He had personally experienced how good the Akatsuki members were to him. The current Naruto is different from the one on the screen, who is recognized by Iruka, has companions, and is accepted as a disciple by Jiraiya. On screen there was a clang sound. Outside the door came the childish voice of Dao. It hurts. The fat woman pushed open the door, looked at Dao who had fallen to the ground, and asked in a bad tone, "What are you doing so late? It's time to go to bed." Nono saw that it was Kabuto and said quickly, "This child has just arrived and doesn't know the schedule and rules of the orphanage. Please forgive him," the fat woman said helplessly. "Hey, Dean, you are so soft-hearted." Screen turned. "Hey. Come check the clock. It's already 20 minutes past lights out time." Then, the fat woman pointed at the clock and asked Xiong Dao, "I'm asking you, what time is the lights out? Remember this right now." Kabuto stared blankly at the clock. The fat woman urged, "Answer the time quickly, remember it clearly." Looking at Kabuto's trembling pupils, Nono was stunned. The old man next to the fat woman said, "This child is too young. It's normal that he can't even read the clock, let alone calculate. Let's forget about it today." At this moment, Dao's voice came, 9 o'clock. The two were startled. Nono gave his glasses to Kabuto and said with a smile, "Correct." The old man also laughed heartily and said, "It seems that it is just his eyesight that is bad." Then he said to Dao, "You are very smart for your age. You need a pair of glasses." The fat woman said helplessly, "Where can I get the money to buy glasses?" "Really, if you can't see clearly, just say so." Just as Kabuto was about to take off his glasses, Nono grabbed his hand. Kabuto opened his mouth slightly and looked back at Nono. Nono's eyes curved, and he smiled at Kabuto. "You must strictly abide by the time from now on. I hope the degree is appropriate." Dao stared at Nono's gentle face for a long time, and tears could no longer be stopped from flowing. "Thanks." The silver-haired little boy on the screen was trembling slightly. "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." Nono put his arm around his shoulders and comforted him softly. "Okay." At this time screen turned. He turned into a big snake with round framed glasses. "My name is Mark. My glasses are a prop. From the beginning, I was nobody. From the beginning, I had nothing." Near Water Country, Itachi glanced at Kabuto Yakashi, who seemed a little dazed in the distance, and sighed softly. "This is also a person with a story, but what the ninja world lacks the least is people with stories." Ninja world. Wow, what a gentle big sister. After seeing the beginning of this story and thinking about what happened later, I feel so sorry for both Dao and the Dean. After losing his ego, he turned into a powerful villain. The story of this person is also very exciting. Damn Danzo. Look at what you have done. I feel like Kabuto is actually a good match for Akatsuki. I originally thought that Kabuto's future looked quite ugly, but now the more I see him, the more attractive he becomes. Although I haven't seen him fight in the future, he must be very strong. Pure Land. Tobirama looked at the next scene on the screen and his face suddenly turned dark. He covered his chest, heartbroken. He has learned medical ninjutsu at such a young age? What a talent of Konoha? For some reason, an image of Danzo appearing in his mind, saying to everyone with a righteous look, "I am doing this all for Konoha." Tobirama clenched his fists. "Sometimes, I really want to clean up the mess." It is true that Danzo did it for Konoha, but Danzo is also a silly guy, and he is better at destroying things than anyone else. An enemy with a renegade guy who seems to be even more perfect than his older brother. Sage Mode with Danzo around. It's not surprising that Konoha has become a ruin. On screen Nono, who was using the palm immortal technique, turned around and asked, "Dao, are you okay?" "Yes, Dean." The slightly older Kabuto responded and continued to treat the Konoha ninja. Aki looked at Kabuto and asked, "Although it is for the orphanage, why do we have to help the ninja with treatment?" Dao's tone was calm, with a maturity that did not belong to his age. Because if you don't do anything, money won't come to you. Aki, can you help me get the bandage? Okay. Orochimaru, who was being treated by Kabuto, said, you are not a ninja, but your medical skills are pretty good. Tao answered obediently, the dean taught me. Orochimaru looked at Kabuto and asked, your name is Kabuto, right? Do you want to be a ninja? You will become an excellent ninja. I believe it. Tao just smiled and said, I don't have such plans. I just want to help the orphanage save as much money as possible like now, and always help the director. She has done so much for me, but all I can do is give her a pair of glasses. Orochimaru said in a hoarse voice, really? What a pity. Ninja World. Orochimaru has good vision. By the way, isn't Kabuto too good? Have you noticed that among all the children in the orphanage, only Kabuto was using medical ninjutsu? And he is the youngest child in the orphanage, right, Alice? What a good child. It's a pity that Konoha has Danzo. On screen turned Danzo went to the orphanage. I didn't expect that you, who are known as the walking shrine maiden, have become a babysitter now? Long time no see, you look a little haggard now. Nono's face lost its usual gentleness. I have long abandoned that name. I have already negotiated with Konoha village about the relief funds. What are you doing here now? Danzo stared at Nono in front of him with his eagle eyes and said, you were once the top elite of the route. After leaving the route, do you know nothing? I came here this time not only for the relief fund. Aburain Ryoma behind Danzo said, we have received intelligence that Iwagakure intends to launch a large-scale attack during the current war period. Now we need you to sneak into Iwagakure village to investigate whether this information is true. If it is true, I hope you can investigate the time and place of the action, as well as the specific content of the action, and report it to us. At this point, he added, it should be a long-term mission. Nanoyu lowered his head. You have found the wrong person. I have already. Chapter 277. Who are you? The old man behind Nono looked at Danzo and said sternly, you don't understand how important the director is to the children in the orphanage. The director has worked hard to raise funds and finally saved this place. The fat woman frowned and said anxiously, for such a dangerous mission, can't you just send someone from your base to do it? Why do you have to let the dean go? Danzo said calmly, the only one who is capable of this long-term mission is the walking priestess. There is no spy more capable than her in the current route. A mediocre person will eventually suffer a mental breakdown or turn against the enemy. But I know this guy will never betray Konoha. At this point, Danzo looked at Nono and said, from your expression, you seem to have understood. No, that's right. If you refuse, the orphanage will no longer receive funding in the future, the fat woman exclaimed. The third Hokage has already agreed. He can't possibly allow this to happen, Aburain Ryoma said calmly. It seems that thieves can easily get into this orphanage. I advise you to hire a bodyguard to prevent your money from being stolen. But the prerequisite is that you have to have money. Orochimaru raised his head and revealed the face in his pocket. By the way, be careful not to let the children be stolen. After all, children with unknown identities still have some value, the old man said angrily. You are so despicable. What kind of ninja are you? Fire Nation Muai Village Hokage Building Lu Jiayu was a little stunned. Is it really Danzo? Fugaku frowned and said, using this as a threat, he is really worthy of being that old guy. Fortunately, the old guy was killed. Otherwise, I don't know how much trouble will arise in the future. Although Danzo did this for Konoha, it was undoubtedly undermining Konoha's foundation. If Danzo really becomes Hokage, the village will quickly lose the support of the people given his behavior. Hyuga clan Boruto clenched his fists tightly, his eyes full of anger. Damn it! How could the villagers do this? He thought back to the Konoha village in his time and space. He recalled the Konoha village of his own time and space. Looking at Boruto's appearance, Hayashi sighed and said, Boruto, now you know how great your father is, right? Since he opened a new era of ninjas, even on the screen, I can feel the peaceful atmosphere of the future village. In the future village, there will be no more darkness. Seeing such a scene, ordinary people are undoubtedly the most angry. Ninja World is the value of using these children to be cannon fodder. That's enough of a beast. I admire you. If I were Kabuto, I would be unworthy of the dean's love if I didn't kill all the root ninjas when I had the strength. Danzo is not the dark ninja world, but he is probably not the dark ninja world of Konoha. The director just wanted to take care of the children in the orphanage, and she was willing to do it no matter how hard or tiring it was, but Danzo forced her to be a spy for Konoha. After working as a spy for several years, The director didn't even have the chance to see the children who grew up in the orphanage, and Danzo wanted to kill them to silence them. On screen Danzo looked at the three people opposite him gloomily. You are the ones who don't understand the situation. In order to protect Konoha, this price is not worth mentioning. Nono's eyes dimmed. I see. Wait. Dean, Danzo said calmly. It is because you are not ruthless enough that this happens. You are really not suitable for the route. A drop of sweat slid down the old man's cheek. Shameless. In all his life, he has never seen anyone as shameless as Danzo. Danzo didn't bother to pay attention to him. He glanced out the window and continued, also, in order to obtain the information this time, one of my subordinates died. I want to pick a child from here to fill in. Nono's tone was filled with anger that was difficult to conceal. Don't push your luck. I've already agreed to your request, Abure and Ryoma said. These are two different things. We will prepare the expenses in the future. But this time, the money needs to be exchanged for one person. After all, there are kids who might ask to become Konoha's ninja. Ask around, maybe you can find one. Outside the window Dao, who was eavesdropping on their conversation, had a look of confusion and helplessness in his eyes, which eventually turned into determination. Screen turn. Kabuto turned his back to everyone in the orphanage and walked up to Danzo and the other two. Nono asked softly, Cow. Why? Kabuto turned his head. I am suitable to be a ninja, and I also want to learn medical ninjutsu. Aki frowned and shouted, Dao. Are you going to abandon the 3 years we spent together? Come back soon. Dao was stunned for a moment, then looked at him and said with a smile, have you all forgotten the rules of the orphanage? It's time to go to bed. Screen turn. A scene appears of Kabuto wearing the Kyumagakure forward protector and sitting back to back with a man in black on a bench. It looks like they are passing on information. Next, there are Kirigakure, Sandagakure, and Awagakure. One night Dao leaned against the wall, breathing heavily, and a dark shadow passed over his head. Oops. We're surrounded. Thinking about it, Kabuto took out his pocket watch and checked the time. If it weren't for what happened back then, it would be bedtime now. It's been 5 years since I left the orphanage. I really want to see the director and the others again. Kabuto recalled the appearance of everyone in the orphanage in his mind at this moment. Through the reflection of the pocket watch, he easily caught a Kyune flying towards him. His figure suddenly rushed out to avoid a Kyune from above. A dark shadow pounced towards him. Kabuto reacted quickly, flipped his body, and used his hand knife wrapped in chakra to cut a man's abdomen. Ninja World. After I got to know the dean to a certain extent, I felt like I was suffocating after watching this paragraph. Is this the top leader of Konoha? He said that for the sake of Konoha, he kidnapped the dean for the sake of justice. The dean agreed to help Konoha as a spy, and he wanted to kill him later. This kind of person is disgusting. I want to vomit. Forget it, I'll vomit next time. The dinner was so delicious that I can't bear to leave. Damn Danzo, why would a third Hokage tolerate the existence of someone like Danzo? Even if he was replaced by a guy whose conscience was half-eaten by a dog, there wouldn't be so many tragedies in the ninja world. I hate spies from other ninja villages, but I just can't hate Nono and Kabuto. Maybe, it's because their experiences are too tragic. Pure Land. I did this for Konoha. As long as you think from my perspective, you will understand everything I did. Muttering, Danzo raised his head with a clear conscience. On screen dark clouds dispersed. Dao used the moonlight to see the man's face clearly. He could hardly believe what he saw. Dean. Kabuto looked panicked and crawled in front of Nono. How could this happen? Why are you here? Why? Treat me. Why? Dao quickly explained, it's me, Dean. Seeing that Nono was still a little confused, he had to temporarily interrupt his palm magic and took off his glasses to put them on Nono. I am Dao. Don't worry, I will definitely cure you. In the dark night, Nono used the green light of the palm fairy technique to see Kabuto's face clearly. Who are you? There was a boom in Dao's mind, and the movement of his hands stopped unconsciously. Chapter 278. The Will of Fire was digested. Screen turn. Dao came to the river and washed his hands. He stared at his reflection in the river in a daze. Did the dean forget me? Why don't you remember me? Why, if that's the case, then who have I been all along? What is all that the dean has given me? She gave me my name, she adopted me, and even these glasses. Dao took off his glasses and stared blankly at his reflection in the river. Who is this person? This is not me, not the real me. Ninja World. Since the dean didn't recognize me, does that mean I'm denying myself? The dean has always been Dao's belief. But now, Dao's belief has collapsed. I feel like if I insult Kabuto I can still survive, but if I insult Nono, I'm afraid Kabuto will hunt me down throughout the ninja world. In fact, It was just that Kabuto didn't have the strength at the time. People without strength can't even protect the most important people to them. Konoha village has lost 2 excellent medical ninjas and 2 very good spies. On screen Orochimaru's face suddenly appeared on the water in front of Kabuto. Then, Orochimaru's hoarse voice was heard. It seems that you don't see yourself clearly. As he said that, Orochimaru emerged from the water, looked at Kabuto's face and said, "You have become an excellent ninja indeed. I remember you." Kabuto was startled by his sudden appearance. "You seem to be," Orochimaru said. "I have been watching you and no. Come with me, I will tell you what you want to know." "What do I want to know?" "Why the dean wants to kill you, and why she doesn't remember you." "Don't you want to know the answers?" Screen turned. Kabuto, still wearing his Iwagakure ninja vest, came to Orochimaru's experimental base. "This is my base, no one else knows about it. In other words, you are the first guest." Dao looked at the bookshelves and lab equipment around him and asked, "Why did you bring me to a place like this? What do you want to do?" "You want to know more and more answers. This is a good thing. People can't escape the desire for knowledge. That's why you came here with me." Kao tore off his forehead protector. "Then please tell me quickly. Can you answer all my questions? Then I'll be frank. I've been planning to kill you and the dean together." Dao was startled, then asked, "What do you mean? You are too good as spies. Because you know too much?" Dao's pupils shrank. I asked the village to ignore their own safety and spent so much time collecting information, but now," Orochimaru looked at Kabuto and said calmly, "intelligence can sometimes be more lethal than powerful ninjutsu and weapons. You are now a dangerous person in their eyes. From the beginning, you were destined to have such an ending. Even your mutual destruction was already written in the script." Kabuto stared at Orochimaru blankly, memories of the orphanage coming to his mind. Orochimaru continued, "After you left the orphanage, Danzo immediately told the director the real reason for your departure. In order to get the relief money for the orphanage, you became a sacrifice and entered the route. The director begged him to return your freedom, and Danzo proposed a condition in exchange, which was that several years ago, he ordered her to assassinate a man. Strangely, the assassination target was you." Dao's pupils trembled violently. Then he asked, "That was a condition for my freedom. Why didn't the dean realize it was me?" "I said before, the purpose from the beginning was to make you perish together, so they did something tricky. Hands and feet. Ninja world, this trick is to change the photo, right? Is this how Konoha treats its meritorious officials? It's really hard to imagine that our savior Naruto actually lives in the same village with such a dark guy. I'm already worried about Naruto's growth environment. This method is too despicable. The Kingdom of Thunder Unine Village Konoha is really something. There are such talents in the village, but they are still afraid of them. If we in Kumagakure had such an outstanding talent, we would definitely cherish him more than Konoha." On screen Orochimaru threw out a stack of photos. "In order to prevent you from meeting, the locations you infiltrated were arranged to be far apart. The dean could only know whether you were safe or not through the growth photos, but she didn't know that the photos were replaced with someone else's during the process. Jen took a long time to replace the other person with you. Using a long time to brainwash is one of Jen's common methods." Seeing Kabuto looking at the photo on the ground without saying a word, Orochimaru said, "This is another Kabuto. So when Nono attacked you, she never dreamed that you were Kabuto. In her eyes, you are just a double agent who betrayed the village." Hearing this, Kabuto slowly raised his head, his entire face trembling slightly, staring at Orochimaru and asked, "And you were sent by the route to eliminate the survivors, is that right?" Orochimaru praised, "You don't know yourself at all, but you are very smart now." Kabuto quickly formed seals with his hands, chakra wrapped around his palms, and suddenly pounced on Orochimaru in front of him. Kabuto placed his palm on Orochimaru's neck and stroked it hard. Blood splattered. Orochimaru's pupils shrank into tiny dots. Kabuto's emotions were completely out of control. He raised his hand high and chopped down at Orochimaru under him. "I have always wanted to know what I am. I want to give myself an explanation. I thought I finally got it, but because of you, I lost myself again. Glasses should be the bond between me and the dean, and the name should belong only to me." Although he was yelling hysterically, Kabuto did not stop his movements and Orochimaru's blood splattered everywhere. "The person who will never forget me no matter what happens should be the dean, but now everything has changed. Then who am I?" After yelling the last sentence, Kabuto gasped violently. The chakra wrapped around his hands dissipated, and his emotions gradually calmed down. Now took 2 steps back and sat down on the ground. Pure Land Nono was already in tears as she watched the crazy and irrational Kabuto on the screen in front of her. Danzo deadpanned, This is all for Konoha. You and no know too much? Any risk of information leaking out would be a huge blow to Konoha. I will never allow this to happen. Madara looked at this scene with no expression either. Hashirame's eyes were full of self-blame and shame. I'm sorry, Kabuto. This is all the village's fault. Tobirama was silent. Did Danzo really do this for Konoha? Yes. Does Danzo have the will of fire in his heart? His heart is in the dog's stomach, and the will of fire has probably been digested long ago. How many powerful enemies did Danzo bring upon Konoha? Tobirama recalled it carefully. I want to clean up the house even more. Chapter 279. How is it the same as a lottery? Orochimaru, who was lying on the ground, opened his mouth, and another intact Orochimaru emerged from his mouth. You just lack the materials to explain yourself. Glasses, name, and your younger self cannot prove the real you. As he said this, Orochimaru spread out his hands. What's wrong with this? If you can't agree with the original thing, then look for a substitute and make up for it little by little. Right. Dao shed tears, his pupils shrank. Since you want to kill me, why do you tell me this? Because I also want to know who I am, so I am collecting all kinds of things. I will use the things I gradually collect to repeatedly test and prove, accumulate knowledge and abilities in myself, and then regenerate into a brand new, perfect self. Then I will get new things in the same way. With that said, Orochimaru walked towards Kabuto this time. It's your turn. As for who I am, I can deduce it as long as I collect all the objects and information in this world. Kabuto looked at Orochimaru and asked, why have I become one of them to you? Orochimaru walked to a place not far from Kabuto and stopped. Because I value your talent more than anyone else, it would be a pity to kill you. Besides, this is the medical experiment equipment I prepared for you. What do you want to do? Orochimaru said slowly. Create an organization and village that can find itself, which is completely different from erasing the roots of self. Sounds village does not belong to any country. From now on, you and I are separated from the roots of Konoha. And from this moment on, I am your boss, brother and father. I will protect you from Danzo. Orochimaru nodded and looked at Kabuto, and began to make up a history for him. From now on, your new resume is as follows. When you were young, you were taken in and raised by the captain of the medical corps during the Battle of Mount Kakayo. After returning to Danzo, your public identity is the son of Yakashi Nono, who became the captain of the medical corps. From today on, you will be reborn as Yakashi Kabuto. Orochimaru walked up to Kabuto and held out his hand. I am Orochimaru. If you want to know who I am, come to me. Next scene. After Orochimaru was sealed, Dao picked up a container full of blood and poured the blood into the infusion pressure bag. If you cannot agree with the original thing, then look for a substitute and make up for it little by little. The next moment, the test base was filled with Kabuto screams. Dao held his arm tightly. The intense pain made him sweat all over. No. It's not enough. This is not the real me. Ninja World. Orochimaru is really good at speaking. I really want to see who is better between him and Naruto. I wonder if such a plot will appear in the live broadcast. I feel like, although I can't replace the Dean, Kabuto should keep a place for Orochimaru in his heart. I don't know why, but I always feel that Orochimaru has this kind of charm. I don't have a comprehensive understanding of how good Kabuto is even if I watch the live broadcast, but I can guess a little from how much Orochimaru values him. Is the person that Kabuto wants to become really himself? Using someone else's appearance to compliment yourself will only make you live like that person. Konoha lost a talented person and gained a powerful enemy. There are gains and losses, and it is worth celebrating. At this time the background music on the screen suddenly didn't seem so sad anymore. In memory, Orochimaru took out a scroll and performed in pure world reincarnation in front of Kabuto. The debris on the sacrifice fell away, revealing a ninja who looked to be a middle-aged man in his 40s. The uncle looked around. Oh, what happened? Orochimaru stood up, put one hand on his waist. This is not right, Kabuto. It is indeed a mistake. Lord Orochimaru. End of memories. It's Kabuto's turn to be reborn. The debris from the sacrifice fell away. Kabuto looked at the ninja who was brought out of the impure world in front of him, put down his hand that was sealed, and said helplessly, "What? I thought it would be Scorpion. But it turned out to be Scorpion's grandmother." Screen turned. The debris from the sacrifice fell away. Looking at the ninja wearing a gas mask in front of him, Kabuto asked, "Are you Hanzo of the Salamander?" The masked ninja opened his eyes and looked up at Kabuto. "No. I am the right-hand man of Hanzo-sama's right-hand man, the Hiji who is taking shelter from the rain." Dao put down his hand that was forming a seal. Looking helpless. Screen turned. Kabuto put down his seal hand, looked at the old man who was brought out of the dirty world in front of him and asked, Are you the Earth Guardian of the 12 Ninja Warriors? The old man sat cross-legged on the ground. No. I am Zhongju, the teacher of Dilu. Oh? Are you better than Dilu? The old man stretched out his hand and scratched the back of his head in embarrassment. No. I am just a teacher who teaches him knowledge. Kabuto sighed. Ninja World Tisk. It turns out that it's easy to reincarnate into the wrong person even within pure world reincarnation. Now Kabuto has white scales on his face, and one of his hands has turned white as well. Something's wrong. His intention of wanting to be strong after his impure world reincarnation is obvious. Was he going to destroy Konoha? And then he was defeated by Itachi and Sasuke? But wasn't Sasuke also going to destroy Konoha at that time? Isn't Kabuto trying to destroy the ninja world? How come this impure world reincarnation is like a lottery? Hey. I finally drew something good. It's Deidara. What do you mean by finally? Chiyo is obviously a treasure old lady. Kingdom of Windsand Hidden Village. Chiyo looked dissatisfied. Is this guy looking down on me? What happened to Scorpion's grandmother? She is very strong. Fire Nation Asuma's pupils shrank. Dilu, are you going to die in the future? Dilu's expression was somewhat stiff. It should be right. On screen next scene Sage Kotobuki, whose body was covered with white phosphorus and had a tail behind him, found the masked man. Spiritual summoning technique, impure world reincarnation. As he finished speaking, a coffin emerged from the ground. The coffin slowly opened, and the person inside appeared before the masked man. This is Ninja World. Looking at the masked man's shocked expression, the curiosity of many people in the ninja world was aroused. Who is this person? Even Uchiha Madara was shocked. It's very likely that he is Hao Daodao, isn't it his father? Even if it's his brother and father, Madara wouldn't be too shocked, right? What if it's my brother and father who are wearing women's clothes? That spot should be able to do it. I really want to see if the person inside is Izuna dressed as a woman. Then I can guess what Sasuke looks like as a woman. On screen Dao raised his lips and said, do you think I would come to see you without any preparation? That's right, you can't refuse. The masked man's Sharingan eyes were full of bloodshot. You bastard. Where did you get this? It took some time. Don't worry, I haven't told anyone. Hearing this, the masked man suddenly laughed. Chapter 280 Weird Harmony. Is there anything funny, Yakashi Kabuto? I didn't expect you to be such a talent. Fighting you now will only weaken our combat effectiveness, so you saw the opportunity and came here. You're a very thoughtful guy. In other words, the masked man said to Kabuto, okay, I will join forces with you. But I will not hand over Sasuke until the war is over. Before that, I will not let you see Sasuke. Ninja World, no way. Kabuto really wants to be an enemy of the ninja world. My scalp is numb. God knows how many strong men came out of Kabuto's impure world reincarnation. Itachi also came out of his impure world reincarnation, right? If that's the case, how many people on the Ninja Alliance side will die? They're all Danzo. Otherwise Kabuto would be in the Shinobi Alliance camp. The shadows and higher-ranking officials of the 5 major ninja villages all looked solemn. Fire Nation Muai Village Hokage building. Fugaku's eyelids twitched. Since Kabuto was able to produce so many strong men through the impure world reincarnation, it means that he is confident that the impure world reincarnation will not get out of control. In other words, the pineapple-headed man scratched his hair and said, that is to say, as long as Kabuto is patient enough, all the powerful men who died in the ninja world will become enemies of the ninja coalition. Fugaku also felt his scalp tingling. Let's not talk about strong men like Itachi, Nagato, Jiraiya, Hanzo of the Salamander, and the successive Kages. Let's just talk about Kido Matsukami of Shisu. Fugaku finally understood why Sarutobi Hiruzen was in a hurry to resign. If the sky falls, there is a shadow to support it. If something happens, there is a shadow to worry about it. Isn't it nice to watch the live broadcast while leaning on a soft sofa or lying in a warm and comfortable bed? On screen turn. The masked man had also changed his clothes. At this time he had an Uchiha fan on his back, and the other eye under the mask was revealed. It was actually a Samsara eye. The masked man looked at Dao. Today's comrade may become tomorrow's enemy. You may put me at a disadvantage for your own benefit. Dao looked at him and said, it seems that you don't trust me enough. What should I do? Immortal reincarnation technique. I want you to prove to me right now whether it really requires the use of a living human body. Also, tell me all its secrets. Of course, including how to stop it. Hearing the masked man's words, Dao narrowed his eyes. What if I refuse? Not only will you never get what you want, but even what you want will change at this point. The masked man stared at Dao. It will become your own life. Kabuto watched him lost in thought. It is not wise to go against the Rinnegan now, okay, but there is no sacrifice at the moment. Hearing what Kabuto said, the masked man released a Urame tone and Yamanaka wins from the Kamui space. Since being arrested, he has been trapped in the Sharingan's illusion. As he said that, the masked man broke up Urame tone's neck and threw her aside. Come. I have completed the pre-operative preparation for you. Dao took out a scroll and said, let me make it clear first. This is classified as a spiritualism. It is to summon the soul of the dead from the pure land of the underworld to the dirty land of the world. The first thing needed is a part of the person to be resurrected. Kabuto pulled out a kunai and stabbed it into Urame Tajin's stomach, causing blood to splatter on his face. That is, a certain amount of flesh. Lord Orochimaru once planned to reincarnate the fourth Hokage, but ultimately failed because he had been sealed by the Shiki Fuijin, and the god of death was the holder of his soul. The masked man asked, that is to say, from the first generation to the fourth generation, none of them can be reborn. Kabuto spread the scroll on the ground. Although I have successfully reincarnated some people, the work of collecting personal intelligence materials is also very hard, because it means looking for corpses. As he said this, the blood on the scroll flowed onto the lawn. The masked man lowered his head and asked, is this the technique? Dao said nothing, but clasped his hands together. The next moment, Shan's Hongfeng, who was kneeling on the ground, was wrapped in debris. Shan's Hongfeng, who was trapped in the illusion, let out a scream. Kabuto said, like this, using the living as a container for the soul of the dead, the impure world reincarnation is complete. The debris scattered, and the oil girl was seen being taken out of the dirt. Of course, the six-path Samsara Eye and Itachi's Sharingan and other rare abilities can also be preserved. However, I can't find Shisu's body. Jiraiya's body is in the high-pressure deep sea that is difficult for humans to enter. There should still be their personal information materials. Fire Nation Muai Village Hokage Building Fugaku and Shikaku both breathed a sigh of relief, as long as Shisu isn't resurrected by the impure world reincarnation, but even so, the future pressure on the ninja world will be great. Fugaku sighed, let's take it one step at a time. At least a future outcome will be good. Hyuga clan Boruto feels although there was no Akatsuki in the ninja world in the past, there were still many crises. It's hard to imagine that with so many powerful enemies, my good-for-nothing father could become the hero who ended the Fourth Ninja World War. Niji asked in confusion, Boruto. Why do you think Naruto is useless? I think he is very powerful. Boruto scratched his head sheepishly. Actually, apart from some things in life, I also think my dad is pretty awesome. Niji nodded confusedly. It turns out to be something that happens in life. Ninja world. It seems that Kabuto is not afraid of the masked man who already possesses the Rinnegan. He just made a decision after weighing the pros and cons. I wonder how strong Kabuto is. Danzo, you old thief, can you see the haze in the sky of the ninja world? Do you feel guilty? Your uncle's Shimura Danzo. If it weren't for Danzo, things wouldn't have come to this, and the Samsara Eye. I was so scared. God knows, I didn't dare to go to the rain country to confess my love to the rich Lady Konan, because I was afraid that Nagato, who had already fallen into extremes, would slap me to death. On screen next scene on the battlefield of the Fourth War. The middle-aged ninja who was first resurrected by Kabuto was startled when he saw a familiar figure. You are Musei. The Kumagakure ninja heard the voice and looked towards him. At this glance, he thought he was seeing things. After closing his eyes and opening them again, he said in disbelief, you are my father. The sand village behind him was shocked. Hey, your dad? Is he very powerful? The Kumagakure ninja hesitated. Just Chunin, Dad. The middle-aged reincarnated ninja walked up to him with an angry look on his face. Idiot. Even if you want to brag, you should say I'm awesome. Ninja world up. Is it possible? Isn't that why Sasuke met Itachi again? They are clearly enemies, but the atmosphere is strangely harmonious. Although many people will be sacrificed, I can still see my deceased relatives, which actually feels pretty good. Forget it. No matter what Kabuto is doing now is evil. Woo-woo. Damn it. You should seek revenge on the dean who was killed by Danzo. Why did he resurrect so many strong men and become enemies with the ninja world? Chapter 281 Seeing lost friends and family again. On screen just as a group of impure world reincarnation ninjas were running, one of the young sand ninjas suddenly stopped. Could it be that? He took another closer look, and after confirming that he was not mistaken, he quickly raised his hand and shouted excitedly, Hey! It's me, big brother! It's me! A ninja who looked 80% similar to him saw him and ran over quickly. How did you get reincarnated? The young ninja who was reborn from the impure world asked, "How are my family members? How are my children? Everyone is fine and living well in the village, really. They are all good." The sand ninja patted his brother's shoulder. "Your wife has remarried and is living happily, eh?" That guy. At this point, his voice suddenly became much softer, and he said in a low voice, "I remarried. There's nothing I can do about it. Ninja world, he is such a good brother who can comfort his younger brother, although I know it's not nice to laugh in this situation, but I'm so sorry, I couldn't help it." Sure enough, seeing others in trouble does make me happy. In addition to those who were amused, there were also people who were sighing and lamenting. He died at such a young age. Looking at her age, she must have been married not long ago, right? On screen, the sand ninja holding the scroll behind his brother said, "I'm sorry, even though she is your family, she still needs to be sealed." At this moment, an impure world ninja behind his brother waved at the sand village who had just spoken and shouted, "Hey! It's me. It's me. Why were you actually resurrected by the impure world reincarnation?" The reincarnated ninja hurriedly ran up to him. "Before I die, I have something I didn't say. I was wrong. Please forgive me." The Tsunagakure who was holding the scroll put it down. "Really? No. Never mind. It's been so long, you're already dead." The impure world reincarnation ninja asked expectantly, "Are you willing to forgive me?" "I have already forgiven you." "That's it." Screen turned Temari. A reincarnated ninja ran towards Temari with excitement. "I miss you so much." Temari was stunned. "Huh?" One of the girls behind Temari asked in confusion, "Do they know each other?" Another girl shook her head, not sure. Temari recalled what the man in front of her looked like when he was a child. "Duh, Damaru? How did you get reincarnated?" Dong clenched his fists and encouraged himself. "Since that's the case, I can only say it out loud." Temari was stunned. "What?" Damaru moved his blushing cheek closer to Temari. "I've liked you for a long time." Temari, Ninja world, although it looks harmonious, I wonder how many people will die at the hands of the impure world reincarnation ninja. The reason why Kabuto has come to this point should not be blamed only on him. It should start from the 5 major nations that started the war, and then Danzo. These are the reasons why Kabuto, an originally kind-hearted child, caused huge troubles to the ninja world. At the very least, Dao has helped countless people see their deceased relatives and friends, allowing those who have long passed away to say what they never had time to say, and allowing many people to no longer have regrets. On screen next scene, Sasuke, who was on his way, seemed to notice something and glanced to the side, but just this one glance made his eyes slightly widen, and his world seemed to slow down because he saw the impure world reincarnation Itachi just passing by him. The 3 Magatama in Sasuke's eyes seemed to be glued to Itachi at this moment. He recalled the scenes of his time with Itachi in his mind. Sasuke stopped and looked back at Itachi's back then. His eyes darkened slightly and he chased after him. "Stop, are you Itachi? I told you to stop." Sasuke yelled as a giant purple skeleton grabbed Itachi in front of him. Itachi also used Susanoo and slapped the purple skeleton away with one palm. "Susanoo, you are Itachi after all." Itachi turned his head but did not stop. "I didn't expect you would be able to use this. Why are you here? Aren't you dead?" Itachi explained. "Because of Kabuto's technique, I am now a reincarnated body. I cannot stop now. I have something I must do." "Who cares? You are now in front of me, and I have so many questions to ask you." Itachi didn't stop walking. "I'll ask you later." "I'm sure you won't listen to me," Sasuke shouted at Itachi's back. "You said it. Let me find you with the same eyes as yours. Then why did you run away? Are you feeling guilty for lying to me? Or do you not have the courage to tell the truth? I already know everything about you. So I decided to destroy Konoha. When I was fighting with you, I said, can you believe that people actually live in their own obsessions? The reality you see may just be an illusion. My truth." Actually, before he could finish his words, Sasuke interrupted him. "I have gotten rid of the illusion and can see through your illusion. These are your eyes." Fire Nation Muai Village Hyuga Clan Boruto opened his mouth slightly, looking surprised. "I've never seen Uncle Sasuke like this before." Hokage Building Shikaku roughly understood the sequence of events and couldn't help but praise. It seems that Itachi destroyed Kabuto's conspiracy and lifted the control of impure world reincarnation. He is always so reliable. On screen when you were alive, you always ignored me, always tapped my forehead and asked me to forgive you, and then ran away. Now that you are dead, do you still want to run away? Listening to Sasuke's roar behind him, Itachi said, "I didn't run away. I just said that I have something I have to do." I must go and stop the impure world reincarnation." As he said this, Itachi formed seals with his hand summoning technique. A flock of crows stalked Sasuke behind him hateful. Itachi tilted his head slightly. "You stay here, Ninja World." Sasuke is not the same Sasuke anymore. Itachi can't shake him off. The Ninja World here will once again be indebted to Itachi. Many people on the allied ninja side will survive because of this. I still find it hard to accept a guy who killed his parents and innocent people in his clan with his own hands, but I have to accept his kindness. The cause and effect of this matter itself is very complicated. Unless the Uchiha clan coup can really take over Konoha village without any sacrifice, otherwise both sides will suffer losses and will definitely become the cause of the Fourth Ninja World War. Empathy cannot be applied only to the Uchiha clan. Itachi's massacre of the Uchiha clan saved more people. Anyone can hate this guy who did such a heinous thing, but only those who will be affected by the war and the people of Konoha village have no right to hate him. Because we have all benefited from him. If the Fourth Shinobi World War was still a war between the five great nations, there would be many more people who experienced the same thing as Kabuto and Nagato. Even though this is the case, it is really hard for me to be forced to accept the favor of a guy who killed innocent children and my own parents. Chapter 282 Uchiha Brothers vs Kabuto. On screen Itachi finally reached where Kabuto was, but he didn't get rid of Sasuke, who wished. Itachi said to Kabuto in a deep voice, "Immortal reincarnation, you actually used such a boring forbidden technique." Dao smiled as if it was a matter of course and said, "Look at what you said. Thanks to this technique, you achieved a touching reunion. You should at least thank me, right? The impure world reincarnation cannot even control the heart. You have desecrated the purified souls and continuously spread unnecessary sorrow and hatred. Do you understand the pain of the dead during the battle? Not to mention the feelings of the survivors. People have finally overcome sighs and sorrows, but you have used magic to revive them." Hearing Itachi's words, Kabuto raised his lips. "It's a bit beyond my expectation that you, who killed all the Uchiha clan, still have such a compassionate heart. Or, are you regretting the thing?" Itachi was silent for a moment. "Whatever you say, you will die here." Kabuto ignored Itachi and turned to look at Sasuke. "Sasuke, you want to defeat Itachi, the enemy of the Uchiha clan, again because I was the one who brought him back to life. In other words, for Sasuke and me, Itachi is now an obstacle, isn't that right? Then why don't we temporarily join forces to kill Itachi? We have the same snake power and the same teacher." Before he could finish his words, Sasuke interrupted him, "I don't intend to treat him as a teacher. Besides, it seems that you don't know anything. I followed you here to find Itachi and ask him for clarification." The smile on Kabuto's face disappeared. "So who are you standing with now?" Without even thinking, Sasuke threw a few Qiu at Kabuto, but it was blocked by Itachi's Qiu. Sasuke frowned, turned to Itachi and asked, "Why? This guy is the same as Orochimaru, so he is my enemy." "Isn't he your enemy now?" Itachi explained. "Let's defeat this guy first, but don't kill him. Once the impure world reincarnation technique is killed, the technique can never be solved. I will use my Tsukuyomi on him first, ask him how to stop the technique, and then keep him in that Tsukuyomi state, and I will control him and cancel the impure world reincarnation technique." It seemed as if he had said these words on purpose for Dao to hear. Dao slowly stood up. "You explained the method of defeating me very fluently. I hope it will be as easy to implement as you said. It's a pity that I just said that this technique has neither weaknesses nor risks." Itachi interrupted, "No matter what kind of ninjutsu, there are always weaknesses, and the weaknesses and risks of this technique." As he spoke of this, a kaleidoscope of light appeared in his eyes. "That's me, Ninja World." I was impressed by Itachi's words. Kabuto has fused the cells of so many people, so his strength must be quite strong. He shouldn't be killed instantly. I think Kabuto is very strong now, but he is still not good enough to face two pairs of Mangekyo. Unless his strength is like Emperor Kai, even with two pairs of Mangekyo, this battle will be difficult for Itachi and Sasuke. After all, they can't kill, and they will be timid if they fight. Although this is not the right occasion, I still hope that Kabuto will not lose too badly. Because in this battle, Kabuto represents the pinnacle of civilian ninjas. Pure Land Nono's eyes were full of self-blame and worry. He blamed himself for not recognizing Dao at that time, which led to Dao denying himself. The worry is that Kabuto will inevitably get hurt when facing two kaleidoscopes. Moreover, when facing the Sharingan, he would probably have to close his eyes or fight with his head down, which would certainly prevent him from exerting his full strength. Minato was silent for a moment, his eyes full of complexity. "Isn't this where you tell Itachi and Sasuke about Kabuto's past?" I just hope that after hearing Kabuto's story, Itachi can understand the present Kabuto and spare his life. After all, it is the village that owes him and the dean a lot. On screen, a conspirator like me is not used to being stared at as he spoke. He lowered his head and covered his eyes with his hood. A strategy to counter illusions. Look at the movements of those snakes. They can sense us very well. Hearing Itachi's words, Kabuto kindly explained, snakes can sense body temperature and can also use their tongues to send smells into their mouths to sense smells. Itachi said, you have done a lot of homework, just like Dr. Snake. Sasuke also said, I have investigated. In order to defeat Orochimaru, Kabuto forms seals with his hands, but a mere Dr. Snake cannot defeat me. This is my home turf, and nature is my ally. The snake has grown bigger, Itachi reminded. Advantageous terrain? Be careful of traps, Sasuke. A trap? No, it's not. As soon as he finished speaking, the giant snake behind him suddenly attacked the two brothers. Boom! Before the smoke cleared, one could see a red Susanoo grabbing the four snake heads with its four hands. The purple Susanoo slashed down and cut off the heads of the two snakes. This is Susanoo. Itachi and Susanoo said, you are too harsh, Sasuke. I said you can't kill him. Sasuke frowned and said, it seems that he has obtained the power of Orochimaru. He will not die so easily. After saying that, he rushed directly towards Dao. Lifting the hat, right, Itachi quickly called out, Sasuke, Ninja World Boy. This battle has turned into a hat-lifting battle, using the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and activating Susanoo to lift Kabuto's hat, just to make his Sharingan illusion work on Kabuto. Why do I feel so happy for no apparent reason? On screen at the moment when the purple Susanoo's fingers hooked open the hood, both of them were startled at the same time. What? Without either of them noticing, Kabuto used the snake stand. Stop! The purple Susanoo grabbed the snake in his hand. Sasuke swung out the Kusanagi sword and pinned the other snake to the rock. You are too insidious, aren't you? Not only did you cover your face, but you also hid your entire body this time? Did you just shed your skin and run away? You are just a degraded version of Orochimaru with his remains transplanted into you. As soon as the words were spoken, Dao's voice was heard. Sasuke, you look down on me, don't you? But that's no wonder. I'm not as dangerous as you on the wanted list, and I'm nothing compared to Lord Orochimaru. Sasuke's Susanoo slowly disappeared, and the Eternal Mangekyo appeared in his eyes. Yes, if you think you can hide yourself like this. When he said this, he had already discovered the chakra hidden behind the tree in front, but at this moment, Itachi's reminder came. Sasuke, be careful. Chakra is everywhere. I don't know which one is the real one. Pure Land Izuna's expression had become somewhat serious. Yakashi Kabuto? Even if he's no match for the Sharingan head-on, he must be an extremely difficult guy to deal with. He can't be killed, and his own strength is not weak to begin with. Plus he has the ability to hide himself so that even the Sharingan can't find his true self. Fire Nation Muai Village Sarutobi clan. Seeing this scene, Sarutobi Hiruzen swallowed the sushi in his mouth. Itachi and Sasuke, I'm afraid it will take some effort to control Kabuto. Chapter 283, Sublimated into a Dragon. On screen in this ninja world, incompetent people will be completely rejected, but it doesn't matter if you don't have it, just snatch it from the people who have it and add it to yourself. Sasuke, who was emitting purple chakra, asked, it seems that you also have Jogo's ability. Did you obtain it through Orochimaru's curse seal? Wrong. That is just a temporary solution. I have cultivated this body by myself in the Ryochi cave. With a bang, after the smoke dissipated, several large snakes appeared in front of Sasuke and Itachi, spitting out their tongues and staring at the two of them. Itachi was shocked. Ryochi cave? Could it be? Yes, I found it. It is a place of inheritance as famous as Maiboku Mountain and the Forest of Corpses. Not only Orochimaru, but I have also reached it. I learned this ability by training with the White Snake Immortal. I have finally surpassed Orochimaru. Several large snakes were entangled together. The snake at the top opened its mouth, and an arm stretched out from its mouth. The moment this arm appeared, Susanoo reappeared behind Sasuke. He drew the bow and shot an arrow. Sasuke, don't be impatient. After saying this, Itachi suddenly became quiet in front of us. The white finger in the snake's mouth pointed at the air provocatively. You actually dodged this arrow. Hearing Sasuke's words, the palm in Orochi's mouth opened. My current perception ability is incomparable to before, and the natural energy is on my side. Itachi murmured, natural energy. This guy is really, listen carefully, the Jugo clan has a special body that can absorb natural energy into the body, which is the secret of his rampage, so he sometimes suddenly becomes powerful and violent. Lord Orochimaru did not focus on Jugo's rampage behavior itself, but investigated the origin of his clan's ability, and then he finally found the source of this power, which is the Raichi Cave. Lord Orochimaru tried to obtain this power on the spot, but his body at the time was not able to withstand it. At this point, Kabuto's other arm emerged from the snake's mouth, followed by his entire upper torso. So, even he couldn't transform into the perfect sage mode like I did, Itachi said solemnly. Is that so? As expected, he has the power of sage mode. You are just like Orochimaru, a useless snake. As soon as Sasuke's words came out, many people in the ninja world couldn't hold back their expressions. The water country is not far away. Itachi looked at the useless snake not far away with a strange look on his face. Sure enough, Orochimaru's expression was not very good. Out has always been a little worried. Will Itachi come here and kill me early? He hasn't learned sage mode yet. The reason why Orochimaru brought him here this time was to let him practice the sage mode in Raichi Cave, and then extract his perfect sage mode cells for research for Orochimaru. Kabuto's future cells are much more important than the Sharingan. People in the ninja world don't understand what the sage mode is, they only have a vague concept of it, but Orochimaru knows it clearly on screen. Kabuto said to Sasuke, since you are Dr. Snake, I hope you can understand that I am no longer a snake. The full power of the immortal has enabled me to shed my snake skin. At this point, Dao formed the seal with his hands, and his whole body burst into energy sublimated into a dragon. Ninja world has I admit that I was slapped in the face. In terms of this momentum, Kabuto is already stronger than those two Susanus with chakra flowing all over their bodies. Now, it should be said that it was fortunate that the two Uchiha brothers who possessed the main Gekyo were able to stop the impure world reincarnation. If it were anyone else, even a Kage, they would have failed. Although Kabuto should be very strong, the power of the main Gekyo Sharingan is still unshakable in my heart. The person next to him said exaggeratedly, hey. What do you mean by the Sharingan is so powerful that it cannot be shaken? Do you understand what the perfect sage mode means? What does it mean? The exaggerated expression on the man's face faded, and he gradually became serious. I don't know either. On screen immortal technique, white stimulus technique. As Kabuto covered his cornea, his body swelled up and a red chakra dragon came out of his mouth. After the chakra dragon flew out, it coiled in a circle. Then, a dazzling white light suddenly lit up, accompanied by an extremely piercing noise. Sasuke covered his ears and yelled in pain. Me ears, it feels like even the bones are being squeezed. Itachi covered his ears tightly, looking equally miserable, but he directly analyzed the effect of this technique. This is a ninjutsu that uses light and sound to block our vision and hearing, uses air vibrations to paralyze our senses and block our movements. Just then, he caught a glimpse of Dao's figure flashing by out of the corner of his eye. Itachi ignored the pain and immediately became alert. The snake's cornea can block its vision and ignore the influence of strong light. Its liquefied body can also respond to sound and vibration. The only one who can act in this situation is me in sage mode. Sasuke stood there motionless, gritting his teeth. Oops. I can't maintain Susanoo. Ninja world. If it were an ordinary ninja, he would have been killed instantly from the start. He showed his power right from the start. With just one ninjutsu, he put himself in an absolute advantage. This technique is indeed very powerful, but it is also very picky about the environment. It is very suitable for a small space like this. Hey, Sasuke, you can't move now, right? On screen, Kabuto originally wanted to deal with Itachi first, but for some reason, he suddenly changed direction and ran towards Sasuke. Just as Kabuto opened his mouth to swallow Sasuke, he was blocked by the fist of the red Susanoo. Itachi, it seems that you are very good at sniffing out my location. Did you sense my chakra? But, that's not right. As Dao asked this question, the effect of the Byakuji technique dissipated and the cave became dark again. Itachi put down his hands that were covering his ears, looked at Kabuto's position and said, when I am being controlled by you, I can clearly feel where your chakra comes from. This is also the risk of this technique. Kabuto smiled and said, you mean when I was controlling you? That means you can't feel my chakra now, right? Are you trying to deceive me with your best lies again? I didn't say that I was the one who could sense your chakra. Only Nagato, who was with me before, could do it. I don't have that kind of power. Besides, even now, I know where you are going to attack. So, just protect that place in advance. When Itachi spoke to Kabuto, Sasuke finally lowered his hands from covering his ears. He opened his eyes and looked around, and found that he was protected by Itachi's Susanoo. Itachi continued to explain, if you want to get Sasuke for profit, you will capture Sasuke first. Before your technique is cracked, the success rate of capturing Sasuke is the highest. After that, you can use him to threaten me. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 284 Wild Boar. Fire Nation Muai Village Uchiha Clan Land. Young Sasuke looked at future Sasuke with disdain. You were so weak back then. If it weren't for Itachi, you would have been taken down by Kabuto from the beginning. Future Sasuke nodded nonchalantly. You will indeed be lame in the future. Little Sasuke sighed. That kind of thing will never happen again. I will practice harder than you, Ninja World. Fortunately, Itachi is here, otherwise Sasuke would not be a match for Kabuto even with the eternal Mangekyo. His thinking is too meticulous and his IQ is also very high. He doesn't seem like someone who would do something like exterminating his clan. There are obviously many solutions, but he insisted on listening to Danzo. Maybe I was too young at the time, and I was confused by the situation. On screen Kabuto said to Itachi, you are unique among the Uchiha clan in that you possess true eye power. You can see through people's hearts, read other people's thoughts, and use them in battle. So you are good at deception. In fact, you are a complete liar ninja who lives in lies all your life. Hearing Itachi's insulting words, Sasuke angrily stabbed Kabuto with his Chidori spear, but Kabuto dodged it easily. Dao hung upside down on the top of the cave, looking at the two people and said, so what if there are two people? A temporary combination cannot surpass my perception ability. Besides, this is a pair of brothers who have been fighting each other for many years because their elder brother is full of lies. Sasuke gnashed his teeth in hatred. Itachi walked towards Sasuke. Sasuke, do you remember the time you and I went on a mission together? The time with the wild boar. Sasuke tilted his head, as if recalling something, and raised the corner of his mouth. That time? I remember it. Dao narrowed his eyes. Wild boar. Are these two brothers sure they are not implying something about him? In memory Itachi pushed open the door. I am off. As soon as he walked out the door, he saw Sasuke. Little Sasuke held a bow and arrow, with one hand on his waist. I heard you are going to hunt wild boars? Brother, Ninja World. The girl's eyes were full of stars. I'm sorry, future Sasuke. I still like little Sasuke the best. He's so adorable. Who can resist a super cute clingy Ho Dao Dao? On screen memories continue. Itachi didn't say anything, but the clingy Sasuke still followed Itachi. Little Sasuke followed behind Itachi, chattering non-stop. It is said that the wild boar was as big as a monster because the bad guy made a mess of the fields, so my brother accepted the mission and had to deal with him. But you are going alone, right? But don't worry, I'll go with you. My brother also knows that I am good at archery because we have gone hunting together many times. Ninja World Massacre. Facing such a lovely Sasuke, Itachi can actually remain silent? As expected of a guy who can massacre his own clan, he is so cold-hearted. Sasuke was so talkative when facing Itachi. Little Sasuke is so clingy, like a follower. Haha, Sasuke's aloof image is gone in my mind forever. If I had a brother as cute as Sasuke, I could pester him all day long like Hinata Hayashi does. Muai Village Hyuga Clan. Hinata Hayashi sneezed. Naruto's eyes widened. The master's aloof image gradually collapsed in his heart. So Uncle Sasuke was like this when he was a child? On screen Itachi stopped and waved to Sasuke. Sasuke was stunned, and as soon as he walked forward, two fingers were pointed at his forehead. Forgive me Sasuke, we'll talk next time. After saying that, Itachi used the instant body technique and disappeared. Nissan. Sasuke hurriedly chased after him. Nissan, somewhere in the ninja world's Abusa thought for a moment, then he turned to look at Bai, stretched out two fingers and pointed at Bai's forehead. Bai's eyes widened at this moment. He seemed to understand Sasuke's feelings. Ninja World, how could you really reject someone like Huo Dao Dao? I'm shocked. How can human nature be so cold and indifferent? On screen the weasel squatted on the roof, watching a wild boar not far away push a piece of wood away. He turned around, looked at the breathless Huo Dao Dao, and said, you can catch up. Sasuke supported his knees, raised his head and looked at Itachi eagerly. I have trained. Come up. Sasuke lost his breath when he heard Itachi's words. The two brothers stood on the roof and looked at the wild boar below. Is this it? The weasel warned. Don't kill it. It will go back to the mountains after teaching it a lesson. Avoid its vital parts. End of memories. Two Susanoo rose from the ground. I know. The red Susanoo rushed towards Kabuto first. The purple Susanoo drew the string of the bow and aimed at Kabuto just like dealing with that wild boar as a child in the memory. Itachi threw out the shuriken. The real red Susanoo threw out 3 Yasuka Magatama. It's now. The arrow in the purple Susanoo's hand shot towards Kabuto at an extremely fast speed, piercing Kabuto's tail with one strike. Sasuke warned loudly, "He wants to take my knife, cut off the snake's tail and run away." Itachi stomped his foot onto the ground and rushed towards Kabuto. "Hey!" Itachi was pierced through the body by the Kusanagi sword in Kabuto's hand. Dao said in a deep voice, "I've already told you, don't worry." At the same time, the tail pierced by the purple arrow melted like water. The kaleidoscope in Itachi's eyes was spinning, as if he was using some kind of ability. A flock of crows surrounded Dao Dao in a flash of white light, and Dao Dao protected his face with his arms. Itachi snatched the Kusanagi sword from his hand and swung it, cutting off a section of the horn on Kabuto's forehead. The two separated. Seeing that Itachi had the upper hand, Sasuke's mouth curled up. Dao stroked his broken horn and smiled. "Yeah, I forgot about it. Usually there is no horn here, so if you are not careful, memories continue." Young Sasuke's arrow missed the target, causing the wild boar to go berserk as the wild boar charged at him. Young Sasuke squeezed his eyes shut, waiting for the blow to come with a bang. Sasuke opened his eyes after hearing the noise and saw the wild boar had fallen to the ground. The weasel standing on the wild boar said calmly, "It's really outrageous." Sasuke was a little embarrassed. "I'm sorry, brother, your training is not enough." Hearing Itachi's words, Sasuke lowered his head in disappointment. "I'm going home, Sasuke. I'll practice with you when I get back." The lost expression on Sasuke's face disappeared instantly, revealing a big smile. Ninja World, I feel like this memory is hinting at something. What else can you hint at? Kabuto only needs to use the Byakuji Jutsu a few more times and these two brothers won't be able to hold out. Although Kabuto is strong, he only gained his power not long ago, and he is not very skilled in using it. This may be the reason why he was defeated by Sasuke and Itachi in the end. Fire Nation Muai Village. Fugaku looked at Kabuto on the screen, then looked at Shikaku. Shikaku. Suppose, as the god aim, I personally apologize to Kabuto, saying that the village had wronged him in the past and would try to make it up to him in the future. Would the village still be able to win him back? Shikaku shook his head and said, "From the current perspective, it will be difficult to do unless Nono is resurrected. Let's first see how Itachi does it. I believe he won't kill Kabuto in the end." Chapter 285. He still has feelings for the village. Sarutobi clan. Sarutobi Hirozen felt that sushi was no longer delicious. He sighed, "It's all because of my incompetence as a Hokage that this consequence has occurred. On screen rather than the wild boar, we should kill the snake first." How strange. After hearing what Kabuto said, Sasuke asked, "What's strange?" "Now it seems that you two have a good relationship. Before, you two brothers hated each other and fought each other." After that, Kabuto looked at Sasuke and asked, "I guess something must have happened when you killed Itachi. Now that things have come to this, what do you want to know from a person who has died once?" Sasuke glanced at Itachi. "The truth." "Oh? Let me guess. From what you said, it seems that you have doubts about Itachi?" "Sasuke, does that mean you already know the truth about Itachi?" Seeing Sasuke silent, Dao spread his hands and said, "No wonder you didn't return to Konoha village after Itachi died, but instead joined Akatsuki who was trying to destroy the village." Ninja World. Ahem. "Sas, as long as you take a photo with me and sign your name, I can tell you the truth. I just want a picture." Sasuke, "Find me first." As soon as I heard someone starting to roll inward, my friend next to me kicked me in the butt. "Go away." Fire Nation Muai Village. Hokage building. Shikaku. Kabuto mentioned the village instead of a Konoha. He still has feelings for the village by calling it so affectionately. "Right, Shikaku, the name village is indeed more intimate than Konoha. It can be seen that what will happen in the future really puts a lot of pressure on Fugaku." This is crazy. Of course, he knew that the biggest reason why Fugaku is crazy was not because he was so greedy for Kabuto's strength and ability, but because Kabuto now hated Konoha. Of course it was a headache for him to take over such a mess. Fugaku sighed. "Danzo is such an inhuman." On screen Kabuto chuckled. "I see. No wonder you took these actions. That's why you want to destroy Konoha, the one that tortured your brother." "Right, as expected, you didn't deny it." Dao pushed up his glasses. "You met your brother by chance, so you came here to confirm the truth with him. Asking for every detail?" "I just said that your brother is a big liar. Itachi killed his compatriots to protect Konoha. Isn't his behavior hostile to you?" "On the contrary, I am the one who has the same goal as you, Sasuke, because I am also the successor of the plan to destroy Konoha that Orochimaru failed to achieve." "Okay, I'll think about it. If you want to stab Itachi in the back and make him come to me, now is the time. It's okay. Don't feel guilty." This guy died a long time ago, he's just a fake. Sasuke closed his eyes and said irritably, don't confuse me with you. I want to destroy Konoha? That's my business. Kabuto looked at Sasuke and pushed his glasses again. I can understand Itachi's actions. I am the same as Itachi. Although I am lucky to be taken in by Konoha's ninja, I was quickly trained to be a spy because of my unknown background. In order to gain the trust of the enemy, I was instilled with medical ninjutsu. I traveled from village to village to engage in espionage activities, pretending to be a fake self and deceiving others with lies. My true self had no place to stay and no one knew the real me. I just kept erasing myself. When I could no longer figure out who I was, Konoha village finally stopped trusting me and transferred me away from the mission. Itachi and I have done so much for Konoha village, but all we got in return was stigma and slander. What on earth did Konoha village give us? It's because of what Itachi did that you are what you are now. The only difference is that I'm not dead yet, and I've also created something equivalent to you. No one understands you better than me, so this time, I will stay by your side as your brother. Come on, follow me. Ninja world, these people are really good at speaking. I see another person who is just like Naruto, not good at preaching. It feels like Sasuke is being taken advantage of so easily right now. He actually hesitated. That's because Kabuto is so amazing. Even when he wasn't this strong, he was still an outstanding person. Some people even trained their eloquence by watching the screen. Sas, I understand you and your brother, so this time, come with me. You will stay with me as a bodyguard. On screen Itachi suddenly said, Sasuke, don't listen to him. He was a better spy than me, which means he is better at deceiving than me. Besides, no matter how dark and contradictory the village is, I am Uchiha Itachi of Konoha village. Sasuke was startled. Itachi said softly, Sasuke. It was not someone else who made you what you are now, but me. Maybe I am not qualified to comment on your decision, but since it has come to this, there is something I still want to tell you, after the scene is cleared. So, stop him first. Ninja world, Itachi is so loyal to Konoha? People like this are what the village leaders like the most, right? After hearing the following conversation on the screen, everyone in the ninja world finally understood how such a powerful Kabuto was defeated in the end. Kabuto also cut off his vision. Izanami? I still remember that video. No wonder Kabuto failed in the end. Will I still be affected by this illusion even if my eyesight is cut off? On screen the Kusanagi sword in Itachi's hand collided with Kabuto's palm, making a ding sound. The two were instantly separated. If Izanagi can change fate, then Izanami can decide fate. Sasuke, don't be too far away from me. Kabuto makes a hand seal. I don't know what you are going to do, but all attacks are ineffective against me now. It seems that you don't know what kind of person I am. Immortal technique. Inorganic reincarnation. Countless sharp stone spikes in the cave stabbed at the two of them so fast that Sasuke couldn't react. Itachi had no time to remind Sasuke and subconsciously used Susanoo to protect Sasuke, but he himself was pierced by the sharp stone spikes. Hearing the sound, Sasuke reacted and turned around and shouted, Itachi, this ninjutsu can give life to objects without biological functions and manipulate them. It is fundamentally different from chakra manipulation techniques. Is it too strong? He used Susanoo to protect Sasuke, but he didn't have time to dodge. Don't worry, I won't hurt him. He is my important experimental subject. Okay, now I will modify your thinking. You should know what the result will be, right? As he said this, Kabuto curled up the corner of his mouth and rushed towards Itachi with a kunai tied with talisman paper. At this critical moment, Sasuke used his eye technique, and a circle of black flames appeared out of thin air to protect him and the recovering Itachi. In the middle, the car slammed on the brakes and stopped in front of Amaterasu. Can the strongest attack eye technique also become the strongest defense eye technique? Pure Land Izuna couldn't help but complain. I really can't tell that Amaterasu is the strongest offensive eye technique. Chapter 286 Showing Ability. There are also people in the ninja world who think so, except that the temperature is higher and it cannot be extinguished. There is no difference between it and a normal fire. Maybe there's no record to show for it. The senjutsu is too powerful. Without Itachi, Sasuke would not be a match for Kabuto. If it weren't for the impure world reincarnation body, Itachi would be dead now. That's because we can't kill Kabuto. Otherwise the main Gekyo technique wouldn't be easy to deal with. On screen, I'm sorry, I'm sure to win. I am getting closer and closer to my goal of completing everything and dominating everything. I cannot imagine myself failing no matter what. All the laws and principles of nature that Orochimaru-sama has collected and thoroughly studied are now stored in my body. From a human to a snake, and from a snake to a dragon, I am the one closest to the sage of 6 paths in this world. Compared to this, what is Uchiha? What Kabuto said really poked the Uchiha in the wrong place. Pure Land. Hear the words. Ben raised an eyebrow. Izune snorted heavily. It's just a fusion of the cells of a few small fish, and learning a magic technique. Tajima frowned. I admit that you are indeed very strong, but you are a little too arrogant. Even if 10 of me were as strong as you, I would not be able to match you. Fire Nation Muai Village Uchiha Clan Land. Many tribesmen looked angry. Yakashi Kabuto, you are so arrogant, damn it. I used to admire him after seeing him pierce Itachi. If you look down on Uchiha so much, you can challenge him in a one-on-one duel. Yes. Let's fight if you can. Wait until I can open the 8th door. On screen you don't understand Uchiha at all. Listen carefully. Just as Sasuke was about to continue speaking, Itachi interrupted him with his hand. Itachi looked at Kabuto with a serious face and said, Kabuto, looking at you is like seeing my past self. Therefore, you will definitely lose. After a moment of silence, Kabuto said, remember, I am no longer a supporting role. It can be said that I am now the center of this war. I used Akatsuki to manipulate the war in my favor and force the Uchiha brothers into a desperate situation. Itachi slowly said, I have 2 opposing feelings towards you, because I used to be like you, living in a hypocritical world as a spy. I didn't know who I was before, until now I finally understand. Understanding yourself does not mean doing everything to make yourself more perfect, but to find out what you can do and what you can't do. A lost drugs sophistry. Are you saying that we should admit and give up what we can't do? Itachi retorted, no. I mean that I can allow myself to be unable to do some things. Itachi's mind flashed back to Naruto's determined look. It is because I cannot do everything that I have companions to make up for my shortcomings. Similarly, this is also to prevent myself from despising everything I can do. If I want to know what kind of person I am, I must face myself and acknowledge my true self. It is because I failed to do this that I lied to others, lied to myself, and deceived myself. People who cannot identify with themselves are doomed to fail, just like me in the past. Fire Nation Muai Village Uchiha Clan Land Tisk. Did that guy realize he was wrong after he came to his senses? That's how it is. Even if he stood on the side of the village, I wouldn't say anything. At most, I would curse him as a traitor in my heart. But this guy is too cruel to the clan, and that bastard the masked man. Once I know who he is, I won't let him off. On screen I also want to ask you, how much do you know about me? I have been searching for my true identity in my own way. Then, Kabuto told the 2 about his past. I have nothing, so I have been constantly filing myself up. Kabuto looked at Itachi, who is protected by Amaterasu's flames. What I need is not your preaching, but your ability and intelligence. You are a Konoha ninja, you have the bloodline of the famous Uchiha clan, you have the Sharingan that can open the Mangekyou, you have many secrets, you have successfully prevented wars, and you have so many ninjutsu and powers. Itachi, you have so many elements that can make you successful. No one is more suitable for my impure world reincarnation than you. My chess piece is my power itself. Itachi looked at Kabuto and said slowly, thank you. I have already failed. Kabuto chuckled and took 2 steps forward. No, even though I belittled the Uchiha name in front of you just now, I still envy it. Itachi said, Uchiha is just a code name for bloodline and affiliation. It is meaningless even if you get this name. Hearing Itachi's words, Sasuke looked over at him. Dao looked stunned, recalling the scene when he met the dean and the dean gave him a name. Is there no point in getting a name? Kabuto suddenly opened his eyes and formed seals with his hands. No, of course it has meaning. When Sasuke saw him forming a seal, he immediately tightened his grip on the hilt of his sword. Is it really impossible to kill him? We are completely passive now, Itachi said seriously. I told you not to. He is the leader of the battle now. Be patient. Is Izanami still not ready? He is about to attack. I am also preparing, but it will take some time. Fire Nation Muai Village Uchiha Clan Land Future Sasuke thought, I didn't think much of it at the time, until I reread this part now. I finally understood why Itachi didn't want me to follow. Sasuke held his chin with one hand, because you are not strong enough and are a burden, more or less. Sasuke's eyes widened. You really admit it? Future Sasuke explained to him, because he can't kill Kabuto, Itachi and I can't use our full strength, and Kabuto's strength is unknown, so he doesn't want me to take the risk. Sasuke nodded seriously. I understand. I will try not to be a burden in the future. Future Sasuke opened his mouth, speechless for a while. How could he not know that he used to be so annoying in the way he spoke? On screen Dao's abdomen squirmed and Zuojin's head popped out. Sakuan, the double magic technique. Then, Sakuan's appearance changed into Jirabo. Jirabo. Earth escape, earth and land return. Boom! A huge crack appeared in the ground in front of Kabuto and the two people opposite him. If you want to know who you are, you just need to collect all the materials and information in this world, Kidomaru. The spider's nest is open. A huge spider web enveloped Sasuke and Itachi. Sasuke's solemn voice came. A knife can't cut this spider silk. The two of them used the pupil exiting technique in perfect harmony. Amaterasu, Kabuto's figure flashed at an extremely fast speed and came to the side of the two people. Kimimaro. Corpse vein. Dance of the early warbler, accompanied by the sound of cracking, bone spurs emerged from the ground and attacked the two people. There is nowhere to hide in this small space. Even the deep cave at the back has spider silk. I'll deal with the ones at the back, and my brother will deal with the ones at the front. Can you still use Susanoo? Itachi responded, and red skeletons appeared around his body and he rushed towards the bone spur first. Chapter 287 Activating Eyes Anime. Flame Release, Akatsuki. Itachi controlled Susanoo and cut off a piece of bone spur in front of him with one strike. After resolving the immediate crisis, the two ran deeper into the cave. Kabuto on the opposite side manipulated Kimimaro to pull out a flute-like bone spur, and then Kimimaro's appearance changed into that of Teuaya. Escaped inside? But it was a waste of effort. Teuaya, magic flute dream sound lock, ninja world. My goodness, Kabuto isn't fighting, he's showing off his abilities. Right, Qiu makes a move, and Sasuke and Itachi counter it. It's really fun to watch. The abilities of the Sound 4 are still very tricky. This time, with Kabuto controlling them, even the power of their ninjutsu has increased a lot. It was enhanced by the immortal technique, so its destructive power is so terrifying. On screen deep in the cave. Are you okay? Sasuke. As soon as he finished speaking, the two were pulled into the illusion world. In the world of illusion, the two were entangled by the white snake and could not move reality. The Susanoo on the two men gradually dissipated. Sasuke said with difficulty, "Is it an illusion? Your most proud Susanoo can't block the sound." "I knew it. This blocks your actions." Next, with that said, Kabuto walked towards the two of them. Teuaya in front of Kabuto turned into Orochimaru. "I will use Lord Orochimaru to absorb you." "How is it, Sasuke? Do you still remember what I look like now? Thanks to you for killing Lord Orochimaru, I was able to successfully merge Lord Orochimaru into my body. Yes, this is my true appearance now. I have said that all the natural laws and principles that Orochimaru has collected and studied are stored in my body. What is missing is Orochimaru himself. Now even Orochimaru is in my body. I cannot thank you enough, Sasuke," Itachi advised. "Kabuto. You are not Orochimaru. It is okay to imitate someone you respect, but don't assimilate yourself to him." Kabuto didn't take it seriously. Most people start by imitating others when they do something. "Just like Sasuke once imitated you," Itachi said in a deep voice, "this behavior is a process that promotes your own growth. It should not be used as a disguise like you do. Tying your own value to something worthy of praise and then looking for the meaning of your existence from it will not find anything. Finally, I'll say it again. Don't deceive yourself with lies. Those who cannot admit themselves are doomed to fail." Dao murmured softly, "You said that I am doomed to fail now. How to fail?" Orochimaru, who was in front of Kabuto, suddenly jumped out and bit the two of them. Itachi turned to Sasuke and said, "Sasuke, look into my eyes." Sasuke didn't hesitate at all. "I see. Illusion. Sharingan." Monthly reading. In the magic space, Sasuke swung the Kusanagi sword and cut off the snake that bound Itachi on the other side. The white snake that was binding Sasuke was also cut off by Itachi just when Orochimaru was about to bite the two men. The red Susanoo cut open the snake's mouth with a sword, and the purple Susanoo grabbed the snake's body and pressed it to the ground. As Dao watched this scene, a line of tears rolled down his cheeks. "As enemy will be activated next." "You have already failed," Sasuke asked. "Is it over?" Itachi held up two fingers and said nothing, but in the next moment, something unexpected happened. Suddenly a pocket shot out of Orochimaru's mouth, and with his palm covered with chakra, he moved sideways and cut Itachi's body into two pieces. Sasuke stared at the scene with eyes wide open in disbelief. Itachi seemed a little unbelievable as well. Dao had a blank expression on his face and said in a cold voice, "Of course a genius who has everything can't understand. I just want to be my true self. No one can stop me." Ninja world. I thought the way Itachi and Sasuke solved the illusion was cool enough, But I didn't expect there was something even color to come. Itachi's words reminded me of the look he and Kabuto exchanged earlier. No way? If that's the case, doesn't it mean that the outcome of the battle is already determined at the beginning? This Itachi guy is so scary. Near water country. Orochimaru licked his lips and glanced at Itachi in the distance with interest. Even I have to admit that this guy is the most special ninja I have ever met. Not far away, Itachi saw that they were looking at him and gave them a polite smile. On screen, the purple Susanoo slapped towards where Itachi was, and the huge impact force directly blew Itachi's upper body away. Fire style, great fireball technique. Water style, great waterfall technique, boom. The huge waterfall easily annihilated the fireball and submerged Susanoo in the thick steam where one could not see one's hand in front of one's face. Kabuto easily pierced Itachi's body with a Kusanagi sword. At this moment, one of Itachi's main Gekyo suddenly turned white, and his entire body turned into a flock of crows and dissipated. Kabuto used his arms to block his head, and the Kusanagi sword fell out of his hand. Itachi took the Kusanagi sword as it formed into a crow and slashed at Kabuto, but Kabuto dodged. At the moment the two people landed on the ground, a small white horn also landed on the ground at the same time. Same trick, did you think I couldn't think of it? I said, as long as my body has this much recovery power, any kind of damage is meaningless. For me, who has cut off my vision, all illusions are ineffective. You have no chance of winning. Ninja world. Many people in the ninja world are still a little confused. Wasn't that horn chopped off by Itachi before? Some people also understand, as enemy has activated, Qiu has already lost. This illusion is too difficult to solve, but I still don't know much about Izanami. That technique seems very profound. I don't have a high IQ or high talent. I'm here to make up the numbers and serve as a foil for this group of people. Right, on screen your fate is in my hands. What allows me to do this is another forbidden technique of Uchiha. That is, chakra wrapped around Kabuto's hand. Then let me see the fate you talked about, Izanami. The Kusanagi sword in Itachi's hand collided with Kabuto's palm, making a ding sound. The two were instantly separated. Sasuke, don't be too far away from me. Qiu put his hands on his hips and walked forward. This scene looks so familiar. I'm tired of playing, let's end this battle quickly. I am the one who controls your destiny. But the one who can decide your destiny is you. Recall what I said and think carefully. Kabuto walked to a distance from the two of them and stopped. I really don't understand what you are talking about. Enough with the word games. I am the one who has everything and I am the real strong one. That's all I know. As he said that, Orochimaru, who was in the belly button, suddenly jumped out. The one who can forgive himself and recognize his true self is the real strong one. Itachi controlled Susanoo and grabbed Orochimaru. Just a stray dog. As soon as Kabuto emerged from Orochimaru's mouth, he was grabbed by the purple Susanoo. Kabuto opened his mouth again and bit off Itachi's hand holding the Kusanagi sword. Stop barking. Kabuto took the Kusanagi sword and stabbed Itachi through the chest with it. Chapter 288 Douda and number 039, S-Fen Group. Itachi's body turned into a flock of crows. Kabuto stretched out his arms to protect his head, and the Kusanagi sword fell out of his hand. It was caught by the Itachi who turned into a crow. What is going on here? Itachi used the Kusanagi sword to cut off Kabuto's intact horn. Dao was confused after landing. He touched his horn that had been cut off long ago. Why? My horns have been chopped off. Dense beads of sweat appeared on Dao's face. It happened. I have blocked his vision, so he can't use any illusion on me. But at this moment, Sasuke blew a huge fireball at him. Just as the fireball was about to hide him, Kabuto subconsciously counterattacked with a great waterfall technique. Steam rose up so thick that it was pitch dark. Dao had a dazed look on his face. What did you do to me? In the mist came Itachi's voice. You have been hit by my pupil technique. Impossible. Kabuto's palm was wrapped in chakra, and it separated from Itachi's Kusanagi sword as soon as it touched. How can I do this? No. It doesn't matter. I can't fail. There is nothing I can't do. Kabuto picked up the Kusanagi sword and stabbed Itachi through the body with it. Fire Nation Muai Village Uchiha Clan Land Key. Although I don't want to admit it, that guy is really evil. Whatever, now I'm a fan of Kabuto. Even though it was only in Izanami, he did stab Itachi a few times, and it was really satisfying to watch. By constantly stabbing Itachi, Kabuto finally found himself. Right, hearing you say that, the more I look at this kid, the more I like him. Although my idol Kabuto is very powerful, he is still in a difficult situation when facing the Uchiha's Sharingan. On screen, after a fierce resistance from Kabuto, Itachi still cut off the horns on his head. I said, your destiny is in my control. Dao yelled in frustration. My wife Ha is fighting 7 alone. If this is an illusion, Kabuto makes a hand seal untie. Dao stumbled back 2 steps, then he easily dodged Itachi's 2 slashes, snatched the Kusanagi sword from Itachi's hand, and stabbed Itachi's body with one sword. After his horn was cut off again, Kabuto flew backwards. Calm down. Uchiha's illusion, and the illusion cast by Itachi cannot be easily broken. There are many ways to break the illusion. Itachi seemed to see through his thoughts and said, "It's useless. Think back to what I just said. Let me imitate the moves you used, Teiuaya." Dreamy sound lock. If I can use this move to transfer me from Itachi's illusion to Teiuaya's illusion, Ninja World desperate, so desperate, it's useless. No matter how much you resist, it's useless. With this forbidden technique, who can beat Itachi? Who would have thought Itachi was such a monster? He could calculate so far ahead. Even such a powerful Kabuto was doomed to fail from the beginning of the battle. There's no point in inorganic reincarnation. It's no use trying to escape. What Itachi actually wanted to say is, Adao fish lips, originally intended to save this move for you. Fire Nation Muai Village Hokage Building Shikaku said thoughtfully, this is just an illusion created by Kabuto. No matter what technique he uses, it will be useless. As long as he can't get rid of this environment, these scenes will keep reappearing. Fugaku nodded. So, actually Itachi wasn't pierced all the way through the body on screen. After running for a distance, Kabuto looked at Itachi and Sasuke who were standing in front of him and saw more and more sweat on their faces beyond the fantasy. He can't escape from this cycle. At this point, Itachi paused and changed his words. Escape from this cycle? Sasuke asked. Is this another forbidden technique that is opposite to Izanagi? Itachi placed his palm on Kabuto's forehead. The ninjutsu that decides fate. This is Izanami, Itachi then explained. Putting him into a small loop like this makes it easier for him to fall into the illusion cast by vision. So, Kabuto has fallen into the cycle you mentioned? This is Izanami. When did you perform the technique? When Kabuto stabbed me with that knife for the first time, at that time. But how did you do it? You said that some eye techniques do not require vision to perform. What do you mean by eye techniques that do not use vision? Itachi looked back at Sasuke and explained, Izanami uses the body senses of both himself and his opponent to perform eye techniques. Choose any moment in the action, and use the eye technique to record that moment and the opponent's body sensation like taking a photo, assuming it is A and assume that in the passage of time, a profound scene is B, C, etc., and record them one by one with a Sharingan. After recording a certain moment, deliberately reproduce the same body sensation as the previously recorded A to create A. Izanami can overlap A, and further reproduce B and C. In this way, the opponent will linger in a specific time. In other words, this is an ability to create an infinite loop. Of course, the price is blindness, just like Izanagi. Sasuke lowered his head and thought, are you saying that Kabuto's consciousness, Itachi in the illusion, and I are forever locked in an infinite loop? No. There is a way to escape the cycle in this technique. Izanami was originally created as a ninjutsu to punish and save the practitioner of Izanagi. Itachi then told Sasuke the origin of Izanami. It was originally used to save the Uchiha clan from arrogance and laziness. It was also to stop people from using the technique to easily escape the consequences. When people decide to accept the consequences they should face and stop escaping, Izanami's cycle will be untied. This is a ninjutsu that guides the practitioner to no longer rely on ninjutsu and actively accept fate. Ninjutsu that can be escaped is too dangerous to be used in actual combat, so Izanami is listed as a forbidden ninjutsu. So, when Kabuto no longer uses other people to disguise himself, he can escape from the cycle. Somewhere in the ninja world White Zetsu yelled, I finally understand. Izanami is a genjutsu. Baizetsu beside him said seriously, no. This is not an illusion. The loudly shouting Baiju suddenly became quiet. Some doubt about life. Isn't it an illusion? Then I probably didn't understand it before. As it said this, the invisible tail behind it stopped wagging. Ninja world, I told you that 1 + 1 = 3. If you keep thinking that it equals 2, then you can never get out of the loop. Is that what you mean? Fortunately Itachi is an Uchiha who can reflect on himself, otherwise he would be an absolute disaster to the ninja world if he mastered this forbidden technique. I fulfilled the dreams of countless people, but in the end, I couldn't even fulfill my own dream. Kabuto feels that he has no sense of existence, so he wants people to notice him. Now he doesn't have to imitate others anymore. I believe that many people in the ninja world have recognized him like me. Chapter 289 Glasses. On screen Sasuke looked at Itachi beside Kabuto and slowly said, The history of the Uchiha clan struggles, the arrogance of the sorcerers that accompanied Izanagi during this period of history, the rampage of individuals, and the confrontation within the family. Izanami was born to stop all of this. Izanagi and Izanami are relatively forbidden techniques. I understand their history. It is not difficult to understand that they advise the caster to accept fate, acknowledge past lessons, and move forward. At this point, Sasuke walked up to Itachi and asked, "But, why? Why did you specifically cast this technique on Kabuto? This technique can be escaped." Itachi looked at Sasuke in front of him and said, "Because he is very similar to me in the past, thinking that he has everything and can do anything, so he rushes forward blindly. That is why he is afraid of failure and deceives himself by saying that he cannot fail. The consequence of deceiving yourself is that you no longer trust the power of others. This is what happened to me. In Dao's case, he took other people's strength as his own, and he used this method to deceive himself. I understand his thoughts. As someone who has been manipulated by the ninja world, I also understand why he cannot forgive and accept himself no matter what. What this guy did was wrong. But it's also wrong to blame him alone." Itachi looked at Kabuto's obsession with Izanami and was lost in thought. I hope Kabuto won't be like me, stubborn and unrepentant until death. Even though he said that, Sasuke was still a little unhappy. What qualifications does he have to ask you, my brother, to do so much for him? He is different from you. You are perfect, Sasuke. I used the eye technique called Kido Matsukami on you, trying to guide you by manipulation. No one treats you as a child more than I do. In my eyes, you are just someone who should be protected. I do not believe in your power. In short, perhaps no single individual is perfect, so they attract things that can make up for their own shortcomings. Only by complementing each other can we slowly start to move in a better direction, just like the two eye techniques of Izanagi and Izanami. I hope you can see me clearly and look for what I don't have. So, don't say I'm perfect. First, Environment Dao shouted angrily, this is impossible. I am perfect. This is not me. How long do you plan to continue pretending to be Orochimaru? If you want to escape this cycle, face your failure. Shut up. Kabuto narrowed his eyes. I know that there will be a fire escape here. Kabuto raised his finger. Water style, water dragon. Itachi got there first. Water style, water dragon bullet technique. Dao was directly swept away by the current. Kisame stared at his hands in a daze. No, you can release ninjutsu faster than others without making hand seals. On screen, who are you calling a failure? How can I say that I failed in all that I did? I just hope that someone can notice my existence. I just want to be recognized. How can this be considered a failure? Beyond the fantasy, Itachi spoke slowly. First, you have to admit your true self. If you do this, no one will lie to you or me. There is no trust in lies, and you can't find a companion you can trust. Moreover, lies will make people lose their true self. In the fantasy, Dao picked up his glasses and stood up awkwardly. If I hadn't been locked up in this place, I would have won the war long ago. As he said this, he put on his glasses. In the past, it would have been time to go to bed. As he said that, he pounded the water hard and rushed towards Itachi. Damn Itachi, Pure Land looking at the increasingly crazy Kabuto, especially when she heard him say, in the past, it would have been time to go to bed. Nono's nose suddenly felt sore. She covered her mouth with her hands, and the tears in her eyes overflowed uncontrollably. The sad atmosphere seemed to have overflowed from the screen ninja world. My glasses fell off. But, does he really need those glasses when he is in perfect sage mode? Of course he needs it. It was given to him by the dean. The eyes are his spiritual sustenance, but there are always people who like to destroy the sad atmosphere. No. The cobra's venom should be stronger. On screen, beyond the fantasy. Next, stop the impure world reincarnation. This way, all the reincarnated dead will disappear, and the war will end quickly. As he spoke, Itachi took off Kabuto's glasses. Sasuke was startled. Then, brother, you too, Itachi said softly. I can be the Uchiha Itachi of Konoha village and protect the village once again. I have no attachment to this world anymore. Why? Konoha village hurt you like that, but you are still loyal? Even if you can forgive Konoha, I can't forgive it. You have no attachment to this world? It's you who made me like this. Itachi looked at Sasuke, his eyes filled with guilt and memory. He said to Naruto, Sasuke is in your hands. I tried to do everything on my own, but failed. This time, I decided to ask my companions for help. End of memories. Itachi said to Sasuke, I am no longer the one who can change you. So, what I can do now is to stop this ninjutsu. This is also to live up to my trust in Naruto. After saying that, he placed his palm on Kabuto's forehead, pulled open his eyelids, and the Mangekyo Sharingan stared into Kabuto's eyes. Tell me the seal that stops the impure world reincarnation, Tsukuyomi. I have done what I promised, the rest is up to you, Naruto, Z, Joe, Shen. Seeing that Itachi was determined to cancel the impure world reincarnation, Sasuke closed his eyes. It seems that nothing I say will work. When I found you earlier, I followed you all the way here to confirm whether what Ifei and Denzo said was true. But I confirmed more than that. Being with you reminds me of the admiration I had for my brother when I was a child. Because of this, the closer we are to each other, the more I understand you. I hate Konoha for torturing you. This hatred is stronger than before. I understand what you want me to do. Maybe it is because you are my brother that you deny me. But it is also because I am your younger brother, so no matter what you say, I will not stop. Even if my brother wants to protect Konoha village, I must destroy it. Itachi spoke slowly. Yin, Chen. Sasuke looked at Itachi with eyes full of reluctance. Fear, elder brother. Hi. Impure world reincarnation technique. Solved. As Itachi finished his words, a soft white light emerged from his body. Chapter 290. The shadow behind the tragic experience. Ninja world. My tears started flowing all of a sudden, especially when I saw Sasuke's expression. It was too cruel. I remember when this happened. After this, Itachi told Sasuke the truth, so Itachi still wants to stop Sasuke from destroying Konoha while he still has a breath left. Sasuke wants to destroy Konoha. It feels like it's not just for Itachi. It may also be that the Uchiha wants a coup and Konoha is forcing them. I don't understand why Sasuke still has such deep feelings for his brother who killed his parents. Even if there is a reason, there must be a knot in his heart after experiencing such a thing. Right, let me put it this way. If Itachi hadn't exterminated the Uchiha clan to preserve his reputation, the Sasuke on the screen would not only be labeled a traitor, but also a fugitive from the Uchiha clan. Even if the Uchiha coup succeeded, the Uchiha clan would still have to endure the hatred of the villagers. Alice. Itachi was born in the wrong era. Ryongchi Cave Princess Ichikishima spat out a letter. Yakashi Kabuto, you haven't disgraced the reputation of Ryongchi Cave. I heard that Orochimaru is on his way to bring him here. When he arrives, I will reluctantly give him a favor and ask for his autograph. On screen on the battlefield he was very sad when I heard the news of your death. It is fate that we can meet again like this. Dawn brought his slightly red cheeks closer. Did you cry at that time? Did you cry? Temari smiled a little embarrassedly. No. I didn't cry. With a thump, Damaru fell down. Seal class. Hurry up. The two ninjas holding the scrolls responded and walked towards Damaru. Damaru had a relieved smile on his face and waved at Temari goodbye. Temari goodbye. Damaru's screen turned dead. I'm sorry I have to seal you. The middle-aged impure world ninja took 2 steps forward. Wait. Before this, what? The middle-aged ninja had tears in his eyes. I fought with Troy until the last second, all for the village. Please tell Lord Rakage for me, Dad. I understand. Screen turned finally. I can be freed from this abominable curse. Teacher. Yukang curled his lips and looked at the disciples below. One, don't die meaninglessly. One looked at Yukang's soul floating in the air with tears in his eyes. Teacher, Yukang said softly, you still have a future. Screen turned. Nissan, you've finished it. I finally saw the painting I've always wanted to see. Your painting seems to have freed my bound soul. Sai, you must cherish the companions who call out your name. Tears rolled down Sai's cheeks. Screen turned. Aburanquijin said softly, you are still the same, so consider it. Shino looked at him and said, it's not as good as before, because I'm no longer alone. As he spoke, he took out a talisman from his arms. Sorry, I have to seal you. You don't have to apologize. Screen turned. Jifeng loosened his grip on the knife. It's embarrassing, but I've tried my best. Goodbye, Zayan. Screen turned. Duan, I have been avoiding missing you since you died, but I have changed. Now, I can try to fulfill your wishes and unfinished business again. I became Hokage, but Dan looked at Tsunade in front of him, his eyes full of guilt. Thank you, Tsunade. You have done so many things for me that I wanted to do. I am sorry for bringing you so many painful memories. I will wait for you there, but don't come too early. Speaking of it, a smile appeared on the broken face. In the end, I was able to protect you and be awakened by the impure world reincarnation, which is also a bit worthwhile. Screen turn. After the impure world reincarnation was released, he looked at the ninja below and said, tell Inoki to witness the future of the Ninja Alliance, and then come and tell me. Screen turn inside the PPDC. The conspirator failed. The corners of Dieter's mouth curved up outside the pipette. A drop of sweat slid down Kankuro's face. Is it a dud? It gave me a scare. At this moment, a loud roar came from the puppet, which scared him. Boom. Dieter's soul floated out of the puppet and flew into the sky. It's not a dud. Art is immortal. Kankuro was speechless, still trying to scare me. After saying this, he seemed to suddenly remember something. Granny Chiyo. Screen turned. Chiyo's soul floated into the air. I can finally die. Kankuro finally arrived. Granny Chiyo. Kankuro. Chiyo looked at Kankuro below with a gentle look in her eyes. I'll entrust the puppeteer skills to you, Kenjiro said solemnly. I will inherit it, Grandma Chiyo. This is also the last time I pretend to be dead. Screen turn. Itachi slowly raised his hand and walked towards Sasuke. It's not too late. I can feel my consciousness gradually blurring out. Before we say goodbye forever, I'll tell you the answer you want to know. I no longer need to lie. On the night I said goodbye to you, what I did was just like what Ifehi and Denzo said. As he said this, Itachi used his Sharingan to let Sasuke see the truth of what happened at that time. I told all the truth, no longer hiding anything. I always lied to you to make you forgive me. I always push you away with his hands. I don't want to involve you, but now that I think about it, maybe you once had the power to change my parents and the Uchiha. If I had faced you squarely from the beginning and discussed the truth with you on an equal footing, at this point, no matter how much I, a loser, say to you, you won't listen. So, this time I want to at least let you know more of the truth. Itachi walked in front of Sasuke. This time, he didn't point his finger at Sasuke's forehead. Instead, he hugged Sasuke's head and put his forehead against it. It doesn't matter if you never forgive me. No matter what you become in the future, I will always love you. Ninja World. This time, my dream has really come true. Kabuto just met his nemesis Itachi. Otherwise, with his strength, he would be ranked top in the entire ninja world. Itachi eats snake. This is all destined. This ninja world is full of tragedy. I seem to have a deeper understanding of Orochimaru's personality charm now. Kabuto is so powerful, but he still respects Orochimaru. After the dean died, Orochimaru was the only one left in Kabuto's heart, right? So, did Madara come out of the impure world reincarnation? Or has Madara been hiding in the ninja world through the impure world reincarnation method? Originally this was Kabuto's home court, but it turns out that Itachi was deliberately leading him from the beginning. Moai Village. Can we see the shadow of Danzo behind every guy with a tragic life story? Iwagakure spy pocket. Wearing the Iwagakure forward protector is so cool. If you really have nowhere to go, join us at Iwagakure. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 291. Too Brave. On screen the title of the next video, Brave Uchiha, Not Afraid of Difficulties. A group of Uchiha rushed into the fourth Hokage's house. The leader drew his sword and pointed it at Kushina and asked, Is Uzumaki Naruto home? Kushina's forehead was covered with a cross, and she asked angrily, Wait? Who allowed you to come in? I will tell Minato and punish you. The leader of the Uchiha clan who was pointing at Kushina was not to be outdone and said, No shielding. Be careful or I'll take you away too. At this moment, Naruto's suppressed angry voice came from behind them. You guys suddenly rushed in, what do you want to do? Accompanied by background music, high-energy scenes and pictures of Naruto flashed by one after another. There's a time when the Nine Tails chakra explodes. Some people open their eyes in Sage mode. There's Naruto in Nine Tails mode, shining with golden light. There's even a picture of Menma with a 3 Magatama Sharingan and a cruel grin on his face. Ninja World. Good guy, how brave. How dare you go to the fourth Hokage's house and arrest Naruto in front of Kushina? Isn't this the Uchiha Suicide Squad? Although this is Ying's home, other than being a little inhumane, there's nothing much to complain about in enforcing the law impartially, right? As much as I like Naruto and Minato, I think that's what a law enforcer should be like. Not afraid of power. If all Uchiha enforce the law in this way, then it's not surprising that they offend people. Why haven't I seen that black-haired Naruto before? He doesn't give off the same warm and reliable vibe as Naruto, but instead has a cold and gloomy vibe. Wait? How could Kushina still be alive at this hour? Naruto's photo goes so well with this exciting background music. This background music looks familiar. Has it been used in a previous video? It's a very familiar melody. My grandma used to hum it to lull me to sleep when I was a child. Rain Country Naruto stared in amazement as he saw himself appear with his living mother. How is this possible? Fire Nation Muai Village as expected of an Uchiha. It's like something the security forces would do. Hyuga clan Boruto's eyes widened. Wow. Is this my grandma? So beautiful. Uchiha clan land slander. This is simply slander. That's right. Our police force is not stupid. If it was a home of 3 generations, they would just break in. But why would they break into the home of 4 generations to arrest someone? Of course it's fake. Naruto is this old now. There's no way Kushina is still alive. Patriarch's house future Sasuke understood, so that's how it is. It extracts certain experiences from a person's life and adds some background music. That's why it looks so exciting. Little Sasuke looked at Sasuke for an answer. That's right, but Naruto's mother, future Sasuke, is also a little unsure about this question. Maybe it's a world of illusion. Little Sasuke scratched his head. It seems, this is indeed the only possibility. Pure Land Kushina rubbed her eyes vigorously when she saw Naruto appear in her home. Naruto? Madara narrowed his eyes, lost in thought. This is Infinite Tsukuyomi. On-screen title, Are You Sweating Profusely? Naruto Boruto boasted to his parents, Himawari and Shikaku, I have awakened a super strong power. Naruto was startled, and quickly squatted down, and asked in a panic, did you steal the book of seals or something? Boruto was speechless. This is the first time I heard about this. Why do you think I would steal? Lu Jiayu smiled and said, someone once stole the book of seals in order to gain power as quickly as possible. Hinata snickered beside her hearing what Shikaku said. Boruto said disdainfully, don't compare me to that kind of person. Naruto's face was covered with beads of sweat, but he still smiled and agreed, that's right, that person is really unforgivable. Ninja World haha. You're right, that man is truly unforgivable. The unforgivable person is definitely Naruto himself. By the way, why do I feel like Boruto will appear more often than Naruto in the future? Isn't Naruto the protagonist of our world? Fire Nation Muai Village Uchiha Clan Land future Sasuke's mouth curled up. This loser has not changed much even after becoming Hokage. On screen next video a guy with a second curse seal said to Jugo arrogantly, what Orochimaru? He is not even as good as one of my fingers. After shouting this, he raised his fist and rushed towards Shigeo goodbye. Shigeo raised his fist and punched him with a bang. The man's fist was easily crushed by Shigeo. Jugo punched him hard in the face then, bang 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 bang. In the ninja world some people covered their eyes, unable to bear to look. Why don't you do something else? Why do you belittle Orochimaru in front of his men? I remember Jugo, one of the members of Team Hawk. When he and Sasuke were fighting together, this guy who belittled Orochimaru was still lying in his mother's arms drinking milk. Right, it seems that Orochimaru's curse seal was extracted from Jugo's body. None of Orochimaru's experimental subjects are weak, not even the Sound 4. The guy from the future really doesn't know his place. Let's not talk about Orochimaru's personality charm. Just Orochimaru's strength is not something that can be belittled by just any trash. On screen next video a quiet voice was heard from the Hokage's office. Someone is pretending to be Kai and Qiu Li and sneaking into the village, and they don't even need to transform, just rely on plain clothes to sneak in? Are they really ninjas? Tsunade said helplessly, the village is so big that all kinds of birds come here. Kakashi spread his hands and said, although it may be a bit confusing, I still came to report it. We can't just ignore the invasion. Should we chase them out? Tsunade supported her chin with both hands and said, no, let them be. Hearing her words, even Tenten in Jingang's arms was a little surprised. Isn't it interesting? We can't let others pretend to be our village's ninja for nothing. Shizune hesitated and said, but, Kakashi scratched the back of his head and said, I don't think it's anything to be afraid of. No one would be fooled by a disguise that can be seen through at a glance. Screen turn please. Teacher Kai, thick eyebrows. The greatest request of my life is that I, Uzumaki Naruto, practice with you for just one day. Opposite Naruto, 2 casual-looking imposters were sweating profusely. Naruto pleaded loudly, I'll do anything you want. Anyway, I've always been curious about taijutsu. Just take me with you. Chapter 292 Since you are still alive. The fake Kai hugged the fake Lee and whispered, drive him away first. Then the two turned around, raised their palms to Naruto and said, no. You can't come with us. Why? Of course it's because our training is extremely harsh and cruel. There were little stars in Naruto's eyes. A cruel and brutal training? Then I must participate. Please. I will never hold you back. Please let me participate, let me participate, the two counterfeit guys shouted. Absolutely not, okay. In that case, Naruto formed a seal with his hands. Shadow clone technique. It's not over yet. Harem technique. Boom, a cloud of smoke rises. Naruto hugged Kai's neck and called out tenderly, Teacher Kai, please. The fake Kai, with hearts in his eyes, gave a thumbs up without thinking and agreed. Okay, Ninja World, this is our savior. You can't laugh. You absolutely can't laugh. Q. This fool is Naruto Hame. Boxes, 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 as expected of you, the savior. What a way. I would call your harem technique the best. Fire Nation Muai Village Hyuga Clan. Niji was speechless. Boruto's expression changed from disbelief, to shock, and finally to excitement. Dad, I will feed on you for the rest of my life because of your dark history. The corners of Rizu's mouth twitched on screen. Title, The Lonely Scarecrow. Kakashi walked out of the house. I'm going out. Kakashi walked over to White Fang's memorial. Dad, a light drizzle started falling from the sky. Kakashi squatted down and placed the morning glory on the tombstone. Dad broke the rules for his friends, right? I have a companion now, but I won't be like my dad. I will abide by the rules after that. Kakashi stood up. Dad, I'll come see you next time. Screen turn. Early morning. Kakashi walked out of the house. I'm going out. Evening. Game back. Pure Land. Looking at the lonely and thin figure on the screen, Hatake Sakumo felt a little stuffy in his chest. His tone was full of guilt and self-blame. I'm sorry, Kakashi, I shouldn't have left you alone. At that time, I was too impulsive. He really shouldn't have abandoned Kakashi at such a young age. In the divine space, Obito was silent. In fact, he also knew that Kakashi was not to blame for Rin's death. It was this terrible ninja world that forced Rin to death, but Kakashi clearly promised him to protect Rin. He hates idiots who can't keep their promises. Ninja world, if we talk about who is more miserable, few can compare to Kakashi-sensei, right? All the people he cared about most in his life died. Fortunately, Team 7 came to save him. Don't talk nonsense. Emperor Kai's still alive. Kakashi was cool and handsome when he was a child. Why did he become so wretched when he grew up? When I see him being so aloof, I always think of the scene when he read the Intimate Paradise before, and the 1,000 years of death he used on Naruto. Damn it. I ran into Kakashi himself at the gate of Konoha village before, but I didn't catch up with him and he slipped away. Teacher Kakashi, there is a secret I want to tell you. Mouth to mouth. On screen turn accompanied by sad background music. Iwagakure kidnapped Lin. Obito asked loudly, what should we do with Lin? Lin will talk about this later. Even if it means sacrificing your companions, you must complete the mission first. Hearing this, Obito punched Kakashi hard in the face. It is true that those who break the rules of the ninja world are called trash. However, those who do not cherish their companions are even worse than trash. I will protect my companions. Next scene, Obito threw Kakashi away when a rock hit his head, but he himself was hit by the rock. Kakashi's eyes suddenly widened. Obito, he rushed over and tried to push the boulder. Obito's weak voice came, forget it Kakashi, I can't do it anymore. Seeing that the boulder didn't budge no matter how hard he pushed, Kakashi fell to his knees in despair. He pounded the ground in pain. What Captain, what Junin? This is a little gift from me, please accept it. My Sharingan, I give it to you, Lin. I'll leave it to you. Next scene, Kakashi pierced Rin's chest with his Chidori. Zai. Next scene, in front of the sink, Kakashi kept washing his hands. His eyes were filled with tears. Can't be washed clean. Next scene, Kai snatched the book from Kakashi's hand. How should I die? Give me back. Kakashi snatched the book back while continuing to look down. He asked, what's the matter? By the way, the 4th generation Hokage has just been announced. Kakashi stopped reading. Kai said excitedly, the 4th generation Hokage is Minato-sensei. Screen turn. Kakashi came to the memorial. Lin. Minato-sensei is going to be the Hokage. Screen turn. In front of the portraits of Minato and Kushina, Sarutobi Hiruzen's voice came out. Minato, Kushina. You used your lives to protect the entire Konoha village. And the future of Konoha village. Next scene, Kakashi took off his Anbu mask. It's been 10 years. Go and become a Jonin. Next scene, Naruto, who was tied to a wooden stake, ate the food handed to him by Sasuke and Sakura. Obito, did you see that? I will never forget you and Lin in my life. Kakashi, who was hiding behind a tree, seemed to be pushed out by several phantom hands. You guys, the 3 little ones were startled. Qualified, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, I believe in you. And Obito, Rin, I swear to you that I will never let the companions I trust die. Next scene, Kakashi looked down at Sasuke, who was tied to a tree by him. Sasuke, forget about revenge. What if I kill the person you cherish most right now? Then you will realize how ridiculous your words are. Yes. That's fine. But unfortunately, none of the people I cherish the most are here anymore. They are all dead. The screen showed White Fang carrying Kakashi on his back and the scene of Minato's class taking a group photo. Next scene. You are Obito, since you are still alive, why did you wait until now? Seeing this scene, the ninja world was in an uproar. Obito is still alive. This outfit. That's right. He is the masked man. I knew it. I knew the masked man wasn't the real Madara. Isn't he Minato's disciple? How could he do something like that? He is so heartless to his teacher and his wife. Divine Space. Obito looked extremely bad. It happened so suddenly. Was he exposed? Does this expose me? 2 live broadcasts, so many videos, including Naruto and Sasuke's entire lives, didn't expose me, but a video of Kakashi exposed me. Kakashi, you're not a scarecrow, you're actually a jinx, right? As long as you're involved, nothing good will happen. Chapter 293. Obito. Even though Kakashi already knew that Obito was still alive, but when Obito really appeared on the screen, Kakashi still felt suffocated. Obito, they are the teacher and his wife. How could you do such a thing? How could you be so cruel as to take out the 9-tailed fox from Master's wife's body? Kakashi's pupils trembled, as if he was thinking of something. Is it because I didn't protect Lin? Kakashi closed his eyes in pain. If it's because of Lin that you've come to this point, if I had known this, how much better it would have been if I was the one who died. Pure Land. Kushina stared at Obito on the screen in a daze. No doubt about it, he's the masked man. And also Obito, you can be anyone else. Why did you have to be Obito? Why? Obito. Why would you do something like that? Kushina trembled slightly as she thought of her and Minato's deaths, and Naruto's loneliness as a child. She clenched her fists. Asshole. No matter what you've been through, I will never forgive you. Minato held his head in pain. Obito. It's actually Obito, Kushina. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. If I had recognized Obito at that time, you might not have to die. If he, as a teacher at that time, had recognized Obito and persuaded him, then, so many tragedies would not have happened. Unfortunately. No. If Izuna frowned. Obito, isn't he the student of the 4th Hokage? If that's the case, how could he be so ruthless to his teacher and his wife, and the Rinnegan in his eye socket? Is that Nagato, Moai village? It was difficult for those very old ladies who had been helped by Obito to accept this truth. Impossible. He can't be Obito. The kind-hearted Obito would never do such a thing. He must be someone impersonating him, the true identity of the masked man? How can I possibly accept such a truth? Uchiha clan land. It's this guy. He's not dead. Damn it. This bastard. If it weren't for him, the villagers wouldn't have thought it was Uchiha who used the Sharingan to control the 9 tails to destroy the village. The tragedy of the extinction of an entire clan was caused by the 9-tailed fox he released. On screen, whether I am alive or not is totally irrelevant. But, that's true. If I have to give a reason, it's because you didn't save Lin from death. The next moment, Obito knocked Kakashi away with his knee, and then slashed Kakashi with 2 huge shurikens. Kakashi stood up again and lowered his head in self-blame. I failed to keep my promise to you. Yes, I am trash. But you are the hero of Konoha. There is no need for you to become like this too. As long as the ninjas survive in this world, they will become garbage. You and I are good examples, Kakashi. No one can escape the cycle of creating garbage in this world, so I want to reshape this world. In memory, in the world of ninja, those who break the rules are trash. However, those who don't know how to cherish their companions are even worse than trash. End of memories. Kakashi lowered his head and said with guilt, I'm sorry, Naruto. I was the one who told you what Obito said, but I almost wavered again. Chidori appeared in Kakashi's hand and he smashed the flying shuriken into pieces with one strike. Obito, your will is still with me. All I can do now is protect Naruto. Screen turned just when Naruto and Kakashi were helpless against Obito's Kamui sealed space. Naruto, let me take over. Let me handle this. Naruto hesitated, but the 9 tails lowered its head, looked at Naruto and said again, okay, it's my turn. In reality, Naruto, shining with golden light, stretched out his hand towards Kakashi. Kakashi's kid, stretch out your hand. Hearing this voice that clearly did not belong to Naruto, Kakashi looked up and asked, you are? Naruto urged impatiently, I told you to stretch out your hand. As soon as Kakashi stretched out his hand, he was grabbed by Naruto and thrown towards Obito, who was rushing towards them. Obito's originally gloomy eyes were filled with astonishment at this moment. Faced with Kyuubi's outrageous move, Everyone else was dumbfounded, but he still subconsciously reached out to catch Kakashi, activated Kamui and sucked him into the Kamui space Obito. Naruto? Next moment when Naruto realized what was happening, he was horrified and danced with fear. Kurama. Look at what you have done. The nine-tailed fox propped up his face with one hand and smiled. Now I have nothing to worry about. The rest is up to you. Naruto? Ninja World, what did I just see? I thought this video would be heavy, but, so you are this kind of Kyuubi? Uchiha Obito's expression changed. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I thought of the video of Uchiha Obito kissing Kakashi's photo, and then watching this scene, I actually felt like my wife had fallen from the sky. It can be seen that Uchiha Obito still has feelings for Kakashi, otherwise his space-time ninjutsu could easily break Kakashi's body. I think he didn't react. Uchiha Obito caught it so steadily. How could it be that he didn't react in time? This contrast, I can only say that the Nine-Tails, who has dealt with the Uchiha, understands the Uchiha. Kakashi eventually became the 6th Hokage. So obviously nothing will happen to him. Why do I feel like Uchiha Obito looks quite happy? Fire Nation Muai Village Sarutobi Clan Sarutobi Hirozen was stunned for a moment, then couldn't help but laugh. I really didn't expect that Kyuubi had such a side to him. Hyuga Clan Boruto said with disdain. Dad used to be so stupid. Facing her future son, Hinata mustered up her courage and whispered back, this is called great wisdom in the form of foolishness. Boruto said helplessly, okay. It's great wisdom pretending to be stupid. Pure land. In the divine space, Obito couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. Everyone in the ninja world looked at the screen and saw two people in the Kamui space raising the seal of opposition. A new round of discussion began. This Uchiha Obito has the Samsara Eye. Kakashi shouldn't be his opponent, right? Although Kakashi is quite powerful, I feel that Uchiha Obito gives people a strong sense of oppression. Kakashi has a strong sense of battle. He won't be defeated too quickly. Is it not possible that Kakashi wins in the end? This is a good opportunity to analyze Uchiha Obito's abilities. Maybe we can target him in the future. On screen the two stood opposite each other. It seems that I really can't change you. Now all I can do for you is to send you to death, then, me too. Come on. In memory, Kakashi and Obito also stood opposite each other when they were teenagers. Minato said, now, ninja battle exercise begins. Chapter 294. One tail, two tail. In reality, the two of them rushed towards each other at the same time. After a few physical exchanges, Kakashi was kicked away by Obito. Obito followed closely behind, stomping his feet down hard. Kakashi quickly rolled to the side with a bang. The earth shattered. Then, Kakashi jumped into the air and kicked Obito in the head, but Obito dodged by looking up. Kakashi pulled out his kunai and slashed at Obito. Obito dodged twice, and the kunai on the chain in his hand was chopped off. Kakashi jumped high and kicked the kunai with his heel. Ding! Blood splattered. Obito's face was scratched by a kunai after knocking Kakashi away with a punch. The scratches on Obito's face healed quickly. Immediately, a black stick appeared in Obito's hand, and Kakashi also pulled out two kunai, and the two rushed towards each other again. Ninja World, this battle is really detailed, especially Kakashi's heel kick. Their taijutsu is so smooth. 1 second, Kakashi was locked in the neck by Uchiha Obito's foot, and the next second, Kakashi broke free. He was as agile as a ninja monkey. It's similar to the sparring I remember from my childhood. Uchiha Obito looked like a sunny boy when he was young, but he turned out like this. Maybe this is the Uchiha's Sharingan? Once it opens to the main Gekyo, it becomes extremely extreme. It's not that he has become extreme, it's that he has become a completely different person. I can't understand it. I can even understand Madara's desire to bring peace to the ninja world, but I can't understand why Uchiha Obito would do such a wicked thing. Tisk. This borrowing hand seal to perform fire escape is very similar to the battle between Naruto and Sasuke in the Valley of the End. On screen in memory, young Kakashi pointed a kunai at Obito. Minato said, the exercise is over. The winner is Kakashi. Okay, let's make the seal of reconciliation. Hearing Minato's words, the young Kakashi put down the kunai in his hand. Obito also held out his hand, allowing Kakashi to pull him up. At a hand pressed on his shoulder, and the owner of that hand held a black stick and continued to rush towards Kakashi. In reality, Kakashi holding a kunai. Obito, your will is still with me today. All I can do now is to protect Naruto. Thinking of this, lightning appeared in Kakashi's hands. Naruto, you are not confused at all. You are stronger than me and have too many things that belong to you. Now I have no choice but to do what I can to protect this world, my companions, and the former Obito. I can only kill Obito now. Ah, the black stick pierced Kakashi's chest. Reikiri pierced Obito's heart. Ninja World, what about the ability of the Rinnegan? Why doesn't Uchiha Obito use it? I want to collect more information about this guy. This is Kakashi 1. Anyway, it satisfies my curiosity. I don't have to guess who this guy is anymore. Is Uchiha Obito dead? How can someone survive being stabbed through the heart? Does he think he's Sasuke? He probably won't die. It would be better if he died at Naruto's hands. Fire Nation. Kakashi stared at his own hands in a daze. Is this my enlightenment? The determination to kill Obito, of course. He knew Obito wouldn't just die like that. On-screen scenes flashed by quickly. Kakashi and Obito stood together. Now we have to truly let go and work hard. I have not given up on your previous wish. It is great to be able to cooperate with you in the final battle. Next scene. From today on, there will be no more Sharingan. Kakashi had his Sharingan taken away by Madara. Next scene, the young Obito and the future Kakashi appear in the same space. Next scene, this is the last mission we will carry out together as the former Team 7, under the name of Sharingan Kakashi. In the blue Susanoo, Kakashi opened a pair of Kamui Meijekyo, used Kamui Reikiri to cut off Kaguya's arm. Moon Kaguya subconsciously covered her arms. You actually took my arm. Can Uchiha Obito's Sharingan actually achieve this level? Ninja World, those white eyes. I still remember those white eyes. They looked so ferocious and terrifying at the time. She is the mother of the six-path sage, right? So, does the future crisis of the Ninja World also include this goddess of the UE? She looks kind. If I beg her not to kill me, will she agree? Fire Nation. Muai Village Hokage building. This is Kaguya. Shikoku looked serious. Sasuke is right indeed. On screen. Next scene, Tsunade walked up to Kakashi. Congratulations on becoming the 6th Hokage. Next scene, the 7th Hokage inauguration ceremony begins now. As Kakashi's last words came out, the screen gradually went dark. This time, I finally completed the task. Ninja World. Kakashi is becoming more and more gentle. Maybe this is the charm of a single old man. I've been losing things for the first half of my life. The word misery is written all over my face. Kakashi is a man that I appreciate more the more I get to know him. By the way, what was that black-haired, gloomy-looking Naruto like before? Was he really Naruto? Is the title of the next video the Tail Beasts? Isn't it the one tail, the two tail? It must be a tail beast. On screen, three tails. Hearing Deidara's impatient words, Afe was counting on his fingers. One tail, two tails, I am. The scene suddenly changed. The second six-path sage. There are also several close-ups of six-paths Obito in the picture. Rain Country. Nagato and Konan's expressions changed drastically. Fire Nation. Muai Village Hokage building. The atmosphere was silent. Future Sasuke didn't say that Obito became the second six-path sage just like when Madara was there. Now that Naruto has not been found yet, they have to prepare themselves mentally in advance. But can Sasuke solve so many crises by himself? Pure Land. Izuna was stunned. This guy has become like a Shurna and Big Brother. Tobirama looked solemn. Madara narrowed his eyes. I see. Did you absorb the 10 tails into your body? So, Obito really wants to abandon me and realize the Moonai project alone. Ninja World, good boy. He's become just like Madara, the second sage of six paths. The second one should be Ashura, right? No, Ashura doesn't have a horn on his forehead. I understand. If you see someone wearing this kind of clothes and with horns on his forehead, don't mess with him. I thought he was dead after Kakashi stabbed him through the heart. If Konoha Village doesn't fight among itself, the Ninja World might be peaceful. The title of the next video is still Uchiha Obito? I really don't want to see this crazy guy again. Did it start from childhood? In other words, we will soon see why he became like this. Memoirs of a Ninja Criminal. Chapter 295, Youth Ninjutsu Tournament. On screen, Uchiha Clan territory. Obito, Rin is here to pick you up. Hearing his grandmother's voice, Obito shouted, Sorry, Lin. I really want to meet my great-grandson sooner. Obito, who was putting on his shoes, raised his head. Grandma, I'm only 5 years old. Lin urged anxiously. Hurry up, it's about to start Ninja World. I haven't even started ninja school yet. Rin and Uchiha Obito knew each other so early? What about Kakashi? The bond between them looks very deep. Lin is definitely a very key figure. It is very likely that it was because of her death that Uchiha Obito's temperament changed drastically. In the divine space, I still remember this day. It seemed that the only thing Obito could see was Rin on the screen. There are not many people who can take away his sight. I still remember that bastard Kakashi stole my thunder. On screen turn boys ninjutsu tournament. Obito and Rin looked at the silver kunai in front of them with sparkling eyes. Wow. This is the prize Q&A, so handsome. The host's voice came from the ring. Okay. Thank you very much. So what ninjutsu are you going to perform next? Obito put one hand on his waist, glanced at several of his peers who were queuing, and smiled confidently. Hey. If only these people were participating, I would definitely win. Ninja World Uchiha children are generally stronger than other children their own age. I think that's normal. Unless there are children from other ninja clans among them. I think Sasuke learned the great fireball technique when he was 4 or 5 years old. The one leaning against a tree is Kakashi. On screen number 7, Uchiha Obito, it's my turn. Obito ran to the host, put his hands on his hips and looked downward. Lin clenched her fists. Come on. Obito, the host looked at Obito and asked, what is Obito going to perform for everyone? Ninja World perform a unique skill and become the second sage of 6 paths. It's not unacceptable for a high school girl to have a crush on a senior. On screen Obito put his hands on his hips. I am going to perform fire style, great fireball technique. That's amazing. Let's get started. After the host walked aside, Obito began to make hand seals coming. Fire style, great fireball technique. Ninja World good work deserves reward. Mom, I've made it. The second 6-path sage is performing the great flame technique for me. Even though Obito is young, when he was breathing flames, this angle of death didn't make his face look that big. It turns out that being the last in the class when you are young does not necessarily mean you'll be weaker when you grow up. Fire Nation Asuma said nothing. He silently took out a cigarette and lit it with his Obito lighter. On screen Lin was the only one in the crowd applauding. The host looked at the judges and said, 6 points. 7 points. 7 points. Oh. Not bad. Uchiha Obito is currently ranked first. When Obito walked off the stage, Lin stopped clapping and said with admiration, Obito, you are amazing. Obito scratched the back of his head sheepishly. Although I'm not in good shape today, I'll definitely win if nothing goes wrong. At this moment, the host shouted loudly, and the last challenger. Hatake Kakashi, Ninja World. It feels like something is going to go wrong. Kakashi has been a genius since he was young. I, who am not from Konoha village, have heard this before. I was timid in the 6 paths video. I struck out hard in my childhood memories. You are a noob, a criminal in the ninja world. Although Uchiha Obito was quite weak when he was young, this little girl Lin is quite supportive. You're only 5 years old, and it's good enough that you can use the little flame technique. On screen Kakashi jumped from the tree and onto the stage. The host asked, what will Kakashi perform? Let's do a earth wave of earth escape. Hearing Kakashi's words, the host asked in surprise, oh. This move requires a considerable amount of chakra. Is it okay? Obito looked unconvinced. Humph. At our age, how can we use earth waves? On stage Kakashi clasped his hands. Earth escape, earth wave technique. Next moment, the violent shaking of the ground almost caused everyone to foul. The judges give their own scores. 10 points. There was a lot of noise all around. Undisputed full score. The winner is Hatake Kakashi. Off stage Lin whispered, what a pity. Obito. Obito looked at Kakashi holding the prize on the stage, clenched his fists, and looked unhappy. Hatake, Kakashi, Ninja World, did you really use it? I admit that I was shocked. I've never seen such a great Kakashi in my life. The gears of bondage are starting to turn. On screen next scene Obito ran to the park breathlessly, where his friends were already waiting for him. Lin couldn't help but complain, you're too slow, Obito. We've been waiting for you. Sorry, I met an old man on the way. As soon as he said this, he saw Kakashi. Kakashi, Ninja World. I met an old man on the way, secretly followed him for a long time, and finally found a chance to bury him, right? I'm a little curious, was it handled cleanly? Will the security forces protect their own people? He wouldn't really go to help the old man, would he? Hey, the aloof little Kakashi has come to join in the fun. In the divine space Obito's face darkened slightly as he recalled the past. Kakashi is a jinx who loves to steal the limelight. On screen Lin said, Kakashi said he wants to play with us starting today. One of the friends suggested, let's play kick the can today. Obito's attention was diverted and the unhappiness on his face disappeared instantly. Okay. Come on. Screen turn. Obito stepped on the jar and panted, Kakashi is the only one left. One of the friends said weakly. Obito ran too fast. Another friend shouted, save us. Kakashi, I'll catch you soon. Obito looked confident, but then he saw Kakashi. Obito was shocked. Kakashi's dead eyes rarely look serious. My companions must be saved. This is my way of doing things. After saying that, He kicked the can away. Time passed by. Minute by minute, Kakashi dodged in front of the jar and kicked it in the other direction. Obito turned and ran in the direction the jar had gone. Kakashi kicked again. Obito changed direction and ran. The sky darkened little by little. Kakashi suggested, "How about I be the ghost instead? Who wants to change?" Obito's words fell with a bang. The jar was kicked away by Kakashi. Ninja World, well done. Uchiha Obito plays with a jar, and Kakashi plays with Obito. Kakashi, when you play with Obito, I suggest you use some strength on your feet and kick the can farther away. Yes, yes. I suggest you use some strength. Chapter 296, Like Dad or Mom? Screen turn. Game over. Obito drank the water in big gulps. It has always been Obito who is the demon, the other friends echoed, but I never expected that we couldn't catch Kakashi once. Kakashi is really too strong. Obito turned his head away in displeasure. Ah. Mom. Lin stood up and said to Obito, "Obito, I'm home." I went back too. Several other children also ran towards the adults not far away. Kakashi and Obito are the only ones left here. Kakashi suddenly said, "I win again." Seeing Obito's increasingly unhappy expression, Kakashi said, "But I have to praise you for one thing. So far, you are the only one who has not shown weakness to me." Obito glanced to the side. Humph. What are you so proud of? It's rare to praise you. Kakashi rolled his eyes, but saw Tsukumo not far away. My dad is here. Obito turned his head back and said, "Oh. See you later." He looked at the father and son not far away, a little absent-minded. Somewhere in the ninja world, Kakashi's eyes were filled with nostalgia. That time was really good. All those he held dear were still alive, but it's too late to cherish it now. Parker looked up at him and said, "Kakashi, what you said to Obito meant that you were brave for not showing weakness to me, but if I could praise you, that would be your courage. Is that right?" The nostalgia in Kakashi's eyes disappeared in an instant. He scratched his head in embarrassment. Is that so? I was always stealing his limelight at the time, so I wanted to find a reason to praise him to ease the relationship. I didn't think too much about it." On screen, Obito's house. Obito, who was eating, looked at his grandmother who was sitting opposite him. "Hey, Grandma. Do I look like Dad or Mom?" "This one. They're both alike. You were born with your parents' lives, so you can't let them down. You should help others as much as possible. It is good." Ninja World, you look like the second sage of 6 paths, like an extreme ninja terrorist, like a good student who respects his teacher, like at the Junior Ninjutsu tournament. The judges hold a scoreboard with 6 points printed on it, like Kakashi-sensei's white moonlight. The malice of the crowd is so pure. Somewhere in the ninja world, Kakashi sneezed and opened his eyes full of complex expressions. Maybe this is why Obito was always willing to help others. In the divine space, Obito lowered his head. If they see me like this, Grandma and Lin probably won't admit that this is Uchiha Obito, right? But it doesn't matter anymore. In the new world I create, everyone will have a new life. There was a glimmer of madness in Obito's downcast eyes. Infinite Tsukuyomi does not mean there is no chance. As long as he holds one of the trump cards, Naruto or Sasuke, there is still hope. He didn't know why he would lend his eyes to Kakashi in the future, but this is absolutely impossible for him now unless Kakashi helps him realize the Moon Eye project. On screen next scene. Oh no. Today is the only day I must not be late. As they were running, the curtain of the entrance ceremony in front was untied by 2 ninjas. Obito slowly stopped. Groups of children passed by him, talking and laughing. Kakashi stopped as he passed by Obito. "You are late for the entrance ceremony. You are not qualified to attend the ninja school. You will never be able to succeed. It's okay. I'll take it for you." Seeing Lin handing him the admission letter, Obito pointed at himself and said, "Mine? Well, you can enroll smoothly as long as you submit these documents." Obito's cheeks turned slightly red, and he clasped his hands together in gratitude and said, "I'm saved. I'm very grateful." Kakashi said at the side, "Tisk. If we keep pampering him, he will never get rid of his old habit of being late." Obito yelled at Kakashi in dissatisfaction, "Stop talking nonsense. You want to fight? Bastard." "What?" Obito was not to be outdone. "What do you mean? You are wrong. What did you say?" "Idiot Kakashi." Screen turn. Obito and Rin were walking on their way home. "Hatake Kakashi. I must defeat him and become Hokage." Lin chuckled and said, "This is exactly the energy I want." Screen turn. In class, Obito made hand seals with both hands. Boom. A small gray man appeared next to Obito. The students in the class burst into laughter when it was Kakashi's turn. Bang. 3 shadow clones of Kakashi appeared. The students in the class exclaimed. Screen turn. In the throwing training class, without exception, Obito was crushed by Kakashi once again. The girls in the class looked at Kakashi with admiration. Lin clapped and said with emotion, Kakashi is different from us. Obito clenched his fists. Looking unwilling to accept Kakashi stealing his limelight after school, Obito put his hands in his pockets and walked home with an unhappy look on his face. A passing classmate laughed and said, "That idiot, I heard that he challenged Kakashi again, and ended up getting taught a lesson. How can the last place win against the first place?" At this moment, Obito suddenly saw Rin also come close to Kakashi. Obito stopped and looked at the two people walking side by side. "Sooner or later I will be able to open my Sharingan, and I won't lose to him anymore." Screen turn. In the sparring class, Obito and Kakashi fought back and forth using physical skills. Ninja World, I can see that Uchiha Obito actually has a crush on Rin, right? That's why he's upset with Kakashi for stealing his limelight in front of Rin? It's so similar. Isn't this the same as the battle in the kaleidoscope space? At this time, Kakashi has no rivals among his peers, so Uchiha Obito is doomed to fail. Teacher Kakashi deserves everyone's love. He is indeed very powerful after opening the Sharingan, provided that he has the Mangekyo. This guy's Mangekyo ability is the strongest I've ever seen, and Uchiha Shin's ability is the weakest I've ever seen. On screen, Lin watched the two sparring with a worried look on her face. Obito kicked Kakashi away, then stepped forward and punched Kakashi, who was lying on the ground, with a bang. Kakashi on the ground turned into a piece of wood. Kakashi appeared behind Obito and pressed a kune against his neck. The head teacher quickly said, "That's it." Obito held out his hand and was pulled up by Kakashi, but after taking a glimpse of Lin's expression, he turned away disappointedly. Screen turn. It was drizzling outside the classroom. In the classroom, Obito was a little surprised and said, "Kakashi has been taking leave recently. I heard that his father passed away. I think he must be very sad." After that, Kakashi skipped a grade and left the ninja school. When they met again, Kakashi was already wearing a ninja forward protector. Obito and Rin walked up to Kakashi. "Your forward protector is, did you pass?" "Congratulations." Obito lowered his head, somewhat unwilling to be left so far behind by Kakashi. Chapter 297, Double Standard Konoha Ninja. Kakashi saw this and asked, "Why, you don't congratulate me?" "I don't want that. Just wait and see, I'll catch up with you soon. Remember this." After saying that, Obito ran away. Looking at Obito's back, Kakashi spread his hands innocently. Screen turn. Obito sat on the bench, wondering what he was thinking about. Lin approached him and said, "It's time to go to class." "Let's go, Lin. You said you would keep an eye on me, right? I will catch up with that guy. And I will definitely surpass him and become Hokage." Lin nodded gently and said seriously, "Yes, no problem. I will always pay attention to you." Ninja World, it's hard to imagine that this guy once dreamed of becoming a Hokage. Why should Lin pay attention to him? Watch him kill his teacher and his wife with his own hands. If kind-hearted Lin saw Uchiha Obito now, I'm afraid she wouldn't even look at him. Before this guy opened his Sharingan, I really couldn't help but have a good impression of him. But when I thought about what he did later, this good impression immediately disappeared. On screen, what a joke. That bastard, who can bear to go on a mission with him? Don't be angry. Kakashi will be withdrawing from the team soon. Hearing the discussion of the two ninjas in front of him, Obito, who was holding a package in his arms, was stunned for a moment. But, until the two of them passed by Obito from behind the two of them, Obito's weak voice was heard. Sorry." The two ninjas heard the sound and turned around. Obito asked nervously, "The Kakashi you two are talking about, is it Hatake Kakashi?" Who are you?" Obito explained, "I was Kakashi's classmate at ninja school, so you two are friends." Without even thinking, Obito denied, "No. We are not that close. Isn't that guy super annoying? It's impossible to carry out the mission if I'm grouped with that kind of person." Obito lowered his head. "Mission? I see. Kakashi can already do missions." Then he looked up and asked, "What happened before?" One of the ninjas frowned and said in disgust, "That bastard, even if his compatriots were injured or surrounded by the enemy, he would turn a blind eye and prioritize the mission. Who would want to work with him if he were like that? If you are unlucky enough to be assigned to the same team with him in the future, you must be more careful." After saying that, the two Konoha ninjas left. Obito stood there in it as a mission priority. He recalled Kakashi's words in his mind, "I must save my companions. This is my way." How could he? Ninja World, I have heard a little about the White Fang incident. Thinking back on it now, it is really terrifying. White Fang was clearly carrying out a confidential mission. How could the ninja he rescued have the courage to make it known to everyone? I also know a little about White Fang's affairs, so I just want to say, how can people be so mean? White Fang was criticized for saving his teammates, and Kakashi was still criticized for not saving his teammates. Is this deliberately targeting the Hatake father and son? The double standards have been played out by the Konoha ninjas, tisk. If Kakashi hadn't saved his teammates, the grass on the graves of these two ninjas would be half a meter high by now. No matter what he's been through, Kakashi is still Kakashi, not like Obito who went to extremes. Kakashi just looks aloof. How could he not save his teammates? Uchiha Obito is holding a package, and the expressions of these two Konoha ninjas from behind look like a silly road deer. This guy is really kind now. On screen after school, Obito quickly ran to Rin's side. Hey, Lin. Have you seen Kakashi recently? No, at most I occasionally glimpsed him on the street. He was always on a mission outside the village. Why are you asking this suddenly? Obito was a little worried. Yesterday I heard some rumors about Kakashi, and they weren't good. The last time I saw him, he had changed a lot, Lin worriedly said. I wonder if it's because of his father's matter. Obito quickly asked, do you know anything? Unclear, that's it. The two walked to an intersection, and Lin waved her hand and said, bye, Obito. See you tomorrow. Obito absent-mindedly pulled his hand out of his trouser pocket. On the way home, Obito met Kakashi, who was sitting on the ground with his knees hugged. Looking into the distance, he walked up to Kakashi, put his hands on his waist, and asked casually, hey, Kakashi. How are you doing recently? The atmosphere was silent for a while. Seeing that Kakashi did not answer, Obito continued, I heard a lot of comments about you. They said that you performed well. Seeing that Kakashi still didn't speak, Obito asked with concern, are you having any difficulties? If there's anything you are worried about. Before he could finish his words, he was interrupted by Kakashi. I haven't fallen to the point where I need you to worry about me. You? When Obito said this, he suddenly caught Kakashi's eyes empty. Dead silence. Obito swallowed back what he was about to say. Don't bother me, Kakashi said as he walked away. Fire Nation Muai Village, Sarutobi Clan, Sarutobi Heroes inside. Alice. If Obito had not fallen into darkness, with his abilities, it would not be a problem for him to realize his dream and become Hokage in the future. Seeing Obito become like this, he believed that the other party must have his own goals. If I set my goal on protecting the village and becoming Hokage, he would probably wake up laughing in his dreams on screen from then on. Obito practiced even harder in order to catch up with Kakashi. He refused to stop even on a rainy day, throwing techniques, ninjutsu, and the technique of training abdominal muscles with umbrella lizards. At this time, Lin came over holding an umbrella. Found it, Obito. Lin. Obito was stunned, then fell from the tree while dancing. Lin quickly threw away her umbrella and ran over. Are you okay? Obito immediately sat up, scratched the back of his head embarrassedly and said, my foot slipped. It's okay. Are you still practicing in such a heavy rain? Obito looked a little depressed and said, yes. I just think I have to work harder if I want to catch up with that guy. That guy, that's Kakashi. One day I will make him admit defeat. Otherwise, how can I become Hokage? Besides, that guy is already able to go on missions, so if I don't work harder, he will leave me further and further behind. Lin encouraged, you have ambition. Come on, Obito. Obito's cheeks flushed slightly. It is good. Screen turn graduated from ninja school. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Ninja World, who was assassinated this time? The grandfather or the grandmother? Does this guy have a disease that will cause him to fall into darkness if he is not late? Is it constipation? Is that why it took so long? Then we should go find Kakashi and ask him to use Konoha Taijutsu secret to help relieve constipation. Tisk. I guessed the result. I guessed it too. It's obvious that Lin was the one who cleaned his ass. Someone had an invisible hero halo on his head. Lin is a very likable girl. It's a pity that I was not born in Konoha Village, otherwise I would definitely pursue her. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 298, Chunin Examination. On screen, even though Yilin had a gentle personality, she couldn't help but speak in a heavier tone at this moment. It's unbelievable. I was late for both the entrance and graduation ceremonies, and the graduation ceremony was already over. Obito lowered his head. But I met an old lady. Lin put her hands on her hips. Obito, the probability of you encountering an old lady is a bit high, right? Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I keep getting ambushed recently. Lin was very disappointed and said, really good. Isn't this knowingly committing a crime? Obito pouted and glanced to the side. Lin sighed helplessly. You? She grabbed Obito's hand and said to him, okay, follow me. Screen turn ninja school graduation ceremony. Lin held Obito's graduation certificate and read, graduation certificate, Uchiha Obito. This proves that this student has graduated from the Konoha Ninja Academy. Also, rain or shine, you have persisted in your hard training. After that, she handed the graduation certificate to Obito and said with a smile, here, congratulations on your graduation, Lin. Obito's eyes were filled with tears. He wiped his tears and took it with both hands. Thank you, Lin. Although there is no one here to witness this, I am happier than receiving the certificate from Grandpa Hokage. Lin put her hands on her hips and said, from now on, we are Jinan, so you better cheer up. Yes, I know. Obito thought of something and asked, so, to become a Jinan, you have to form a team of 3 to do missions, right? Has the group list been announced? Yes, it has been announced. Then, Lin lowered her head, looking a little depressed. Obito's pupils shrank. Could it be, not grouped together? Ninja World. Lin is so sinister. Ha, I didn't expect this gentle little girl to have such a side. Look how scared our little criminal is. He's about to open his eyes. Even I can't help but like this little girl a little. No wonder Uchiha Obito went crazy after her death. In the divine space, Obito's eyes were full of Rin, who lowered her head and pretended to be depressed. Lin, looking at Lin like this, Obito's mouth curled up in an arc that he didn't even notice. Wait for me, we will definitely meet again. In that new world of peace and happiness. On screen, Lin raised her head. Unfortunately, we are assigned to the same class, isn't it? Obito's tone was full of surprise. Really? I still have to continue taking care of you? Great. After the excitement passed, Obito asked, who is the remaining person? Well, Lin's pretty face turned slightly red. Screen turned. Kakashi crossed his arms across his chest. Too slow, Obito. Minato smiled and said, finally you are here, you are Obito. I'm waiting for you. Obito panted, finally caught up. Kakashi said impatiently, you are already late for a long time. Minato said, I am Minato, your superior from today on. Please take care of me. Obito gave a thumbs up. Okay, anyway, let's do an initial drill first. This drill is to test your teamwork ability. Hearing Minato's words, Obito and Kakashi glance at each other. As for the content of the exercise, this is it. As he said this, Minato took out 2 bells from his pocket. Screen turn. Obito, dressed in a dishevel, slumped on the ground, gasping for breath. Rin and Kakashi weren't much better. Kakashi spread out his palms in the palm of his hand. There was a bell. All of you have passed. Then, you will start taking on tasks starting tomorrow. Obito immediately perked up. Great. I will show you my strength through actual combat. That being said, at the beginning, all the missions were within the village. Minato explained, like finding pets, searching for lost items, etc. Isn't this just a chore? Odd jobs are also tasks. Only if you complete them well can you be assigned more important tasks. As he said that, Minato looked at Kakashi. Kakashi has participated in many actual combat missions. I guess you will not be happy if I ask you to do this kind of mission now, but I hope you can complete it well, Obito said energetically. Okay. Kakashi, compete with me. Let's see who can complete more tasks starting tomorrow. Boring, go play by yourself, Obito challenged. Are you scared? What? Kakashi glanced at Obito. The 2 men's eyes met, and both were unwilling to give in. Ninja World. I didn't expect Kakashi to be able to snatch the bell from Minato. Uchiha Obito in the past seems very similar to Naruto. It seems that people like him can easily win the favor of others. What a pity. It scares me to think about it. It's all thanks to Haruka that Naruto didn't become what he did later. Obito and Kakashi, Naruto and Sasuke, they were all like enemies at the beginning. Madara and Hashirama were a little more harmonious at the beginning. Somewhere in the ninja world, Zabuza said with emotion, in my eyes, Konoha Village was just a peaceful village for all Konoha ninjas to play ninja games. Now, looking back, I envy their atmosphere. Maybe it's because you don't want the people you care about to take risks with you. On screen, the days passed by. One day and the bridge. Obito rested his chin on his hand, bored. What is Minato-sensei doing? He called us over but he himself is late. I am really impressed, Kakashi said in a gloomy tone. How dare you say that? Obito instantly exploded. What did you say? Looking for trouble and fighting. Lin quickly tried to smooth things over. You two, stop arguing. Obito continued to get angry. Did you just laugh at me? So what? Just then, Minato finally arrived. Sorry for the long wait, everyone is here now. Obito hurried over and asked, Minato teacher, is there a new mission? Today is different. Minato pulled out 3 Chunin exam application forms from his pocket. Obito asked in confusion, what is this, volunteer form? I have recommended you as a Chunin. Obito took a volunteer application and started reading it, his expression becoming more and more excited. Minato-sensei, I love you so much. As he said this, he grabbed Minato's waist. Oh, don't be too happy too soon. If you want to become a Chunin, you have to pass the exam. There are 3 exams in total, and each one is quite difficult. The excitement on Obito's face faded. Tisk, I see, Kakashi said calmly, you can't even abide by the assembly time, so you will most likely fail the exam. What did you say? Okay, stop arguing, Minato said. Having said that, I recommended you based on your missions and determined that you are qualified to participate in the Chunin exam. However, the Chunin exam is not mandatory, and it is entirely up to you to decide whether to accept the challenge. Obito smiled confidently. Must participate. Screen turned Chunin exam. First round. Obito held his head with a look of despair, tears almost falling. Why? It's called the Chunin exam. I thought it would test ninjutsu and taijutsu, but I didn't know it would be the written exam that gave me the most headaches. Chapter 299 Sugar. Ninja World. I still like your confident look from before. Obito kept his promise. He really loves Minato to death. It's hard to imagine such fools becoming so extreme in the future. I can always see the shadow of Naruto in this. Obito. After watching this video, the image of Uchiha Obito as a fool has been engraved in my mind. I doubt that even if he becomes the second sage of 6 paths, he will not be able to answer these questions. Although these are just basic knowledge, Kakashi is almost a Johnny now, right? Why is he accompanying them to take part in the Chunin exam again? Behind him, Kakashi stood up. The invigilator asked, have you finished answering? Yes. After saying that, Kakashi opened the classroom door and walked out. Kaka, that bastard Kakashi. I'm done. Just then, a ball of paper was thrown at Obito's feet. Obito picked it up quietly and opened it. On the note, the answers were densely written on it, and there was a line of small words below. I'll give you the rest later. I'm watching you, Lin. Obito was startled. He raised his head and looked at Lin, who was answering questions in front of him. Lin, Pure Land Tobirama, was thoughtful. No wonder it became so extreme later. Obito lost his parents at a young age, and there is no doubt that he lacks love in his heart, and Lin has been taking care of him since he was a child, filling the missing love in his heart little by little. It goes without saying how important Lin is to him. Obito's inner strength was such that he couldn't withstand the blow of losing Rin on screen. Obito and Rin looked at the list of those who had passed the first written test hanging on the wall after finding Naho Lin's name. They both looked very happy. Obito's cheeks turned slightly red. After glancing at Rin beside him, he looked at the list and continued searching. When he saw Kakashi's name, the expression on Obito's face suddenly turned into displeasure. Kakashi's voice came from behind the two of them. It's natural, right, Humph? It's just a written test. Watch carefully, you'll find my name soon. The more Obito searched, the more sweat formed on his face. I looked through all the names but still couldn't find it. Obito fell into depression. No, Obito. Look at that. Obito looked where Rin was pointing. Alternative qualified candidates? Uchiha Obito. After seeing his name, Obito jumped 3 feet high with excitement. Marvelous. Kakashi leaned against the wall and said calmly, you are qualified as a candidate? You are indeed, Obito. Obito instantly exploded. What did you say? Okay. Stop arguing, both of you. At this moment the examiner came over. There is no time to be happy now. Those who have passed the exam should go to the designated classroom immediately. The briefing session for the second exam will begin soon. In the classroom, the second exam will be held in 3 days. This time, the test will focus on practical skills. You must use all the taijutsu and ninjutsu you have learned to earn the qualification. Obito is still confident. I will definitely win, the examiner continued. However, this is a group battle between classes. Isn't this a one-on-one battle? Obito turned to look at Kakashi. Kakashi, please don't hold us back. I will return this sentence to you intact. Lin quickly tried to smooth things over. That's enough, you two. Kakashi closed his eyes. Especially, don't be late for the exam. HMPH. Got it. Screen turn. It's time for the second Chunin exam in the central tower of the Death Forest. Sarutobi Hiruzen put his hands behind his back and looked at the surveillance camera in front of him. Hatake Kakashi is also going to take the exam, right? Minato beside him said, yes. It's the next group. Oh. I'm looking forward to it. On the streets of Konoha village, Obito ran towards the exam location with tired steps. It was obvious that he had been ambushed by the elders in the village. Before there is still time at this critical moment, he was intercepted by an old lady again outside the Death Forest. Minato class, it's your turn in 5 minutes. Is that okay? Lin said nervously. Yes. I think he will be here soon, the examiner said. Once you miss the exam time, you will be disqualified immediately. Kakashi looked at Lin and pointed in a direction with his thumb. See how accurate I was? It's because you, Lin, spoil him too much that he can't cure his habit of being late. It's okay. He must have come late because of some emergency. He should be able to catch up with the exam. HMPH. That's possible. Konoha Hospital. The old lady clasped her hands together and looked at Obito with gratitude. Obito bowed slightly. Come, have a piece of candy. The old lady took out a piece of candy from her sleeve and handed it to Obito. Fire Nation Muai Village Uchiha Clan Land. No wonder the old ladies in the village liked that guy so much. Yes. In previous elections, the few votes in the clan were basically cast by these grandfathers and grandmothers. I don't know if they can accept this result after seeing that Obito is the masked man who did so many evil things. On screen Death Forest Gate. The examiner said, the exam is about to start at 3 p.m. Kakashi closed his eyes. Damn it, it's all his fault. Lin lowered her head in dismay. He must. Just then, a powerful shout came from a distance. I'm late. The three of them looked. It was because of the candy in his mouth that one of Obito's cheeks was bulging. Lin said happily, see. I told you Obito would definitely come. This time it was finally Kakashi's turn to get angry. Kakashi pointed at Obito and said angrily, hurry up. Otherwise you will lose your qualification. Screen turn. In the Forest of Death. Now we are going to have the second class-to-class competition. The first round of the preliminaries. Let's begin. Ninja Worldo? Emperor Kai? Then Kakashi and his team are wiped out. Emperor Kai hasn't grown up yet at this point, so he may not be Kakashi's opponent. At that time, Kakashi's talent should have crushed his peers in Konoha village. The first round of the Kakashi battle begins. In the divine space, Obito closed his eyes and took a deep breath. It doesn't matter anymore. It was just an embarrassing moment in front of everyone in the ninja world. On screen, Kai rushed towards Kakashi and the other two. First Kakashi and Lin looked wary. Obito suddenly rushed in front of the two of them and formed seals with his hands. Fire style. Great fireball. The next moment, something unexpected happened. When Obito took a breath, the candy the old lady gave him got stuck in his throat. Kai kicked Obito in the face, and the candy stuck in his throat flew out. Fire Nation Muai Village Uchiha Clan Land. The Uchiha Clan members covered their eyes, unable to bear to watch. Uchiha Chihiro's mouth twitched. I really can't associate this idiot Obito with that bastard masked man, Uchiha Inahiro said faintly. He is a high school girl who is in love with her senior. Can you make the connection now? That's enough. Thank you, dear Inahari-kun. It took me a long time to forget the side of Madara-sama saying these words. Pure Land. Madara sneezed. Damn you, Tobirama Senju. So what if you figured it out? It was me, but I've made note of the things you said behind my back. Don't let me run into you again. Chapter 300 Practical Exercise. Ninja World Puff. Cough cough cough. Don't call this move the Great Whirlwind of Konoha. Call it the Great Whirlwind of Justice. Tisk. So miserable. Yilyu Deo. He almost died in his own hands. The winner of the Kakashi battle is Emperor Kai. Let us congratulate Emperor Kai for winning this match. On screen, the third Chunin exam, individual battle. Obito and Guy stood face to face once again. Obito looked at Kai in front of him, raised a thumb to him, and then pointed his thumb down. I will settle the score with you this time. Kai clicked his chin and thought, last time was. Obito was horrified. What? Don't tell me you don't remember. Kai was puzzled and said, who are you? I don't remember doing anything to offend you. Damn it. How dare you look down on me? On stage, Lin waved her hand and said, come on. Obito. The anger on Obito's face suddenly disappeared, replaced by two red blushes. He shouted to Lin confidently, okay. Just watch. The examiner gave the order, begin. The blush on Obito's face had not yet faded. When he turned to look at Kai, he saw a big foot very close to him. After a bang, the goggles flew out. Obito was lying on the ground in a G shape. Winner. Might Guy, Ninja World give up struggling? How can an immortal be a match for a mortal? Is Emperor Kai the nemesis of Obito? Haha, got it. I'm going to knock myself silly and then go around the streets helping old men and women. On screen, on stage, Lin looked worried. Kakashi was speechless. What is he doing? The next competition, Kakashi versus Might Guy. On stage, Obito, with one eye wrapped in gauze, looked a little listless. He turned to look at Lin beside him. I noticed that Lin's pretty face was slightly red, and she was watching the competition with admiration. Obito watched in silence for a long time. Off the field winner, Hatake Kakashi, Lin on the stage said happily. Great. Screen turn. Kakashi stared with dead fish eyes, holding the Chunin vest in one hand and the certificate of becoming a Chunin in the other. Kakashi passed the Chunin exam in one try. He's really amazing. Right? Obito snorted softly, put his hands in his pockets, turned away disappointedly. Ninja World, the little criminal has lost his love. You were just hit by Kakashi, right? Does Rin like Kakashi? She blushed when she told Obito after graduating from the Ninja Academy that the other person on the team was Kakashi. That shouldn't be the case. Rin should like Obito. It feels like Rin is taking care of Obito more, like a sister to her brother. The look in her eyes when she looks at Obito is full of love. Everyone has a desire to be strong, just like I admire my idol Emperor Kai. So Lin should just admire and respect the excellent Kakashi. Although I don't like the stupid things this guy will do in the future, I still hope that my sincerity can be rewarded. Anyone with a discerning eye can see his feelings for Lin. On screen, Twilight Obito lay on the bench and looked at the sky. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. When I opened my eyes again, I suddenly saw Lin's face. You are here. Obito was startled and suddenly rolled over and shrank back. What? It's Lin. Lin looked at Obito, who was in a low mood, and comforted him. It's natural for Kakashi to pass the exam, but we can definitely pass it too. Let's work hard together for next year's exam. Obito lowered his head. But looking at Kakashi, I lost motivation. What are you talking about? Rin walked over to Obito and sat down. Don't you want to be Hokage? Obito was stunned. I will watch over you carefully. Obito looked at Rin, his cheeks tinged with red again. It is good. Screen turn. Rin and an impatient Kakashi were waiting for Obito. A moment later, Obito walked out of the Hokage building in a daze. Lin looked worried. Hey, Obito raised his head. I passed. I am also a Chunin. Screen turn. You are late again. Obito, who arrived late, said embarrassedly. Well, I encountered some problems on the way and got lost. Kakashi complained. How tortuous is the path you take? Stop talking nonsense. Hate it. On the roof, Minato said with a headache. It's hard for the two of them to keep in step. Yes. But teacher, leave this situation to me. I will make them get along well. As she said that, Lin jumped off the roof, ran between Kakashi and Obito, reached out and grabbed the hands of the two who were pointing at each other, and pulled them away. Let's go. Both of you. In a street, Lin leaned close to Obito's ear and whispered, come down from the cherry tree in the park later. Obito didn't know what he was thinking about, and his face became redder and redder. Ninja World dating. I knew that Rin liked Obito, so Kakashi is the only single guy left in this team. Right, poor Kakashi. He will be fed dog food more often in the future, but it won't last long. At this time, the third Ninja World War is not far away, right? Or it has already broken out. On screen, holding a bouquet of flowers, Obito secretly cheered himself. You must express my true feelings to Lin today. Seeing Rin running towards him, Obito quickly hid the flowers behind him. Sorry I'm late, everyone. Obito blushed and waved his hands. It's okay, everyone. Obito was stunned when he saw his companions suddenly gathered around him. Hey, why is everyone here? Lin explained. I called everyone here to discuss how to celebrate. Obito hid the flowers very well. Hey? What are we celebrating? Isn't Kakashi going to be promoted to Jonin soon? So I think the friends of the same period can send some gifts together. Obito reached out and took the paper that Rin handed over. A gift plan for the members of the same period to celebrate Kakashi's inauguration as a Jonin. Confidential mission, Kakashi becomes a Jonin. Lin blushed and smiled. Hey, Obito, don't you know? We are his classmates, and we are also very proud of him. The flowers in Obito's hand fell to the ground. Ninja World tisk. The six-path sage is heartbroken. A man who will be the enemy of the entire ninja world in the future, now doesn't even have the courage to confess his love to a girl. This oil has feelings, but Lin has no intention. It's too obvious that Lin likes Kakashi. On screen, Minato looked at the three people seriously and said, the next step is actual combat training. If you think it is just training and are too careless, you will lose your life. Do you understand? Yes. Screen turned. Three figures were moving through the jungle with a swish. Minato appeared on a big tree not far behind the three people. He used a kunai to cut a silk thread tied to a tree. There was a sudden boom sound of explosion around Kakashi and the other two when the three of them ran to an open space. Minato cut another thread. Swish. Brush, brush, there was a sound of breaking Arabito and Kakashi looked serious. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.